Welcome to your 2026 video horoscopes with me, Lada from AstroLada.com. I call those short and sweet summaries of 2026 for each of the 12 signs because they focus just on Saturn and Jupiter, the two planets that determine the external and internal environment, the most important events in our life. We'll go through them so you have an idea how the year will be ahead. But if you'd like the full version of those videos, you can check my 2026 video horoscope, 2 hours for each of the signs, way more in depth. We covered the other planets, Uranus, Pluto, and Neptune as well, all the eclipses, all the retrogrades of Venus and Mercury, and so on. But now enjoy and may you have a blessed 2026. Sun, Moon, Rising 2026 Aries, this is the biggest year for you from all of the 12 signs because all the universe is looking up at you. Saturn and Neptune are entering your sign. Actually, for the last couple of years, Saturn and Neptune and Jupiter and the nodes have been in water signs. Houses for you that are invisible. Houses that are the 12th, the 4th. So maybe you've been drowning a bit too much in the last 2025 and 2024 in kind of being stuck because these are houses not about forward progress. They're internal. Like you live through internal impressions from the past, you ruminate on the past, you heal your soul. It's kind of an Aries as a sign that is go, 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 is used to progress, to move forward. So it might have felt like you were stuck in some way, whether by your own choice or without your own choice, and that it was that you were kind of suspended in space, not sure where to go because of Saturn in the 12th house. It can be a very confusing time of uncertainty. Something is ending, but the new is still not starting. So that tends to be a frustrating time for fire signs when the water houses, when a lot of planets are in water like we had it, because fire gets put out by water. And that's what we've had for a year and a half too. A lot of water, a lot of drowning in emotionalism, but that was necessary. The soul was preparing you, was cleaning itself up from previous impressions, unprocessed feelings, unprocessed traumas. And there was a lot of endings as well, letting go of the past, or letting go of things that are unnecessary for the new beginnings that Saturn will bring to you the moment Saturn enters Aries, which happens once every 30 years. Last time this happened was 1997, 8, or 1996, 7, 8, something like that. And this is once or 2, 3 times in a lifetime that Saturn enters your sign. And the ultimate goal of Saturn is to start a new karmic cycle for you. So there will be endings that are completing and things that you've been struggling for many years, maybe 7, kind of the small cycles of Saturn, 7 years, 14 years, or 30 years, the whole cycle, 28 years, something you might have been struggling for a very long time with, or that has been a repeating pattern, a repeating conditions and environment for you, almost like set in stone. This will end because Saturn is ending a full circle, a full karmic cycle for you. It's like, okay, you've suffered enough there, you've learned your lessons. Now we're starting with new lessons, something new on a higher level, more aligned to your current maturity, to your level of consciousness. So a lot of difficult situations, or situations that you thought you were stuck in with your whole life, or habits or behaviors or ways of being, will die out now. And there will be the birth of a new you. Because Saturn transiting your sun, moon, or ascendant, it's a rebirth. It's a powerful new beginning that is starting in 2026, 2027. Actually, the first 15 degrees Aries will feel it the most this year, from 0 till 15, because Saturn is working there, the first half of Aries. While the second degrees Aries from 15 till 30, 2027 will be the more pivotal year. There might be still more in a 12th house energy in 2026. So you can listen to Taurus when I speak more about Saturn in the 12th house to get an idea, but you'd also feel this new beginnings of Saturn in your first house. And Saturn is a planet about maturation. So you start noticing that you're strangely willing to change spontaneity, something that Aries is very like, oh, I get up now, I'll do this, I'll do that. But you'll be willing to trade spontaneity for structure, for discipline, for routines, because there's the need to almost like you'll be willing to give up part of your freedom now, a small part of a freedom, but it's just so you can work on something, so later on you'll have a much bigger freedom. later on with the freedom of satisfaction of having achieved something tangible, real, of having achieved like a big goal of yours, for example. So yeah, it is about giving up some freedoms with Saturn in your sign. It is about purposefully, consciously, or unconsciously being restricted. So kind of some of your liberties, some of your frivolities or distractions, you very likely, because it's a conjunction, you would willingly remove them. Maybe you're wasting too much time playing computer games. Maybe you're wasting too much time on social media. Maybe you're wasting time, wasting your life, not doing anything. But there is a sense of, sorry, urgency when Saturn is around, that you need to mature, to grow up, and that there is this narrow time of a couple of years of opportunity where you'll be able to be more self-disciplined, where you'll be able to become more serious. And that's why you willingly are able usually to sacrifice wastefulness, frivolity, late nights for early mornings to achieve something meaningful, to achieve something long-lasting. These are the words for Saturn, long-lasting. And Saturn also rules your 10th house of career and 11th house of long-term goals and dreams and wishes. 11th house is also to be gainful, to be materially successful, to be successful in society, to be accepted. So some dream of yours, some big goal that is also professional and financial and social economic, you'll be sacrificing some of your comforts for it. And of course, Saturn through your sun, moon, or rising is not always the easiest. You can feel a bit more down, energy is lower. That's why you need to prioritize instead of distractions. That's why we cut distractions and spending time like, I don't know, drinking or partying. It's like you consolidate your energies and you find out what is truly that needs your attention the most, because you feel the sense of time is ticking out. I don't have time. I'm going to cut off all those distractions, frivolities. They feel wasteful, And you choose, it's like a mountain that you choose to climb on. You choose to climb on this mountain. And after that, you come out of this transit with quiet dignity that you are able to make it despite the difficulties. Yes, there are restrictions when Saturn is around. Yes, there is more obstacles. The universe tests us. Are we committed to a certain path? Especially for you, Saturn rules the 10th house, to a certain career goal, to a certain goal or dream of yours. And sometimes when Saturn transits the sun, there's issues with father figures, male figures that we have to overcome. But again, we come out with quiet dignity that we were able to overcome these problems or those challenges, situations, these tests of maturity on our own, and you feel much stronger. Saturn builds backbone. Saturn through the moon, if your moon is in Aries, is often about going through some emotional, personal life, relationships, family situation that you're tested about your maturity, about your patience, about your commitment. With the ascendant is often, and sun, moon, or ascendant can be the physical health as well. So you need to take better care of your health with Saturn in your sign, to be more organized, to have some certain routines. Also get more sun, because Saturn is the opposite of the sun. So balance it with sun, with movement, because Saturn tends to freeze the blood, slow it down, tends to kind of cool off the body, arthritic, bone, teeth issues, cooling off, cold, the immunity is lowered. So balance it by more sun, maybe some red light. The opposite of Saturn is red, or sunlight directly, which is the best, of warmth. Get like hot saunas to overcome the coldness of Saturn. And Saturn can be a bit depressive energy as well. But if you have a goal while you're doing it, it's not going to feel so hard. And one day when you look back and trace back your successes and trace back the time you matured and the time you did something really important and the time you build your strengths, it will come back to the time when Saturn was transiting your sun, moon, or ascendant. With the ascendant is also about, powerful. With the 3, it's powerful new chapters in your life. So yeah, this is Saturn, guys. It's the mountain you choose to climb on your own, even if there are external problems. Because it's a conjunction, I often see it more like you personally undertake those challenges, those more mature, more difficult things that at other times you wouldn't be willing to take, but now you are. And at the same time, Neptune is also entering there. But only the first 5 degrees of Aries will feel Neptune. While Saturn is very left brain activity, it's about planning, organizing, postponing of gratification for the purpose of something long term. It's very much about planning, you know. Neptune is the right brain. It's about being here in the moment right now. It's about letting go and letting God. It's about creativity, art. It's about dissolving your ego and who you think you are and your self-identification, while Saturn builds those new roles for the rest of Aries. Those first 5 degrees of Aries will have the opposite effect, the right brain effect, dissolving of the ego, of who they are, sorry, of the direction of their life, and they'll have to be willing more to be present in the moment rather than trying to plan, to do, to go. But I speak a lot more about Neptune and Saturn with specific stories, examples how they have worked for others in my long version of this video for 2026. You can check it out. It's a discounted price now, just $19 for 3 hours, almost 2.5 hours for Aries. Now, the other big event is that Jupiter, till the first half of the year, it's in, of course, the sign of Cancer. So wherever Jupiter is, we get a lot of opportunities there, or things line up easy, positively. And this is our personal life, the 4th house. It can be good for a house. For example, we bought a house with Jupiter in my 4th house and we're decorating it now. Or something to do with the family, extending family. We added new members of the family. Extended family is the 4th house. Your personal family or extended cousins, brothers, so on. Something good happening there with your parents, with your near and dear, or you're receiving support from them. Or if you're doing any project to do with land, with home, it will go smooth. Or with relocation, you can find the place that you feel like home. Things align there with ease. Like God doesn't test us, it gives to us. And plus it's about emotional happiness, healing of the inner self. And remember I told you, 2025, there was a lot of water for us, this kind of emotions and so on. From February, Saturn enters Aries, our 1st house, Neptune as well. So we come more into our power, into strength, the 1st, and then Jupiter enters our 5th house. So from water emotional houses, gradually in 2026, the planets, the important planets that determine the external life for us, that determine the big events, move to houses over which we have more control. Because the emotional houses, there the psyche works. There it's like the gestational period of breaking down the old self, psychological issues, being more emotional, reminiscing about the past, healing past wounds. It's very internal process, more like psychological, you know. And then it goes into houses that are fiery houses, the 1st, the 5th. Saturn goes in the 1st, Jupiter goes in the 5th, so we'll feel much more as Aries, especially when Jupiter also enters a fire sign from July onwards for a year ahead, more like ourselves. And despite of Saturn testing us to some extent, making us be more mature, more grown up, helping us build patience, Jupiter will also from July start also giving us results. Not just tests, but start supporting us, and there will be solutions to the tests. There will be Saturn presents some challenge. Jupiter immediately allows us to creatively think of a solution, because the 5th house is a creative house. Sorry about that. You see, with all this water, I've been sick. But when they enter 1st, 5th house in 2026, you come into power, more strength, more self-control. You become more creative with Jupiter in the 5th house from July. It can be good also for having children, getting pregnant, or for something good happening in the life of your children with Jupiter in the 5th house, for romance. So it's not just all seriousness, Saturn, sacrificing late nights for early mornings and discipline. There is also fun when Jupiter enters the 5th house from July. There is romance, the lucky, positive, happy romance. Maybe building something serious, while at the same time having romantic rejuvenation. If you're already in an existing relationship, there can be resurgence of your joy of life, of romance together, reigniting of the love, or falling in love with someone new with Jupiter in the 5th house. Also, you become more creative, more full of ideas, original ideas for problem solving or for whatever. And you discover new hobbies, new joys, new fun ways to live your life. Because fifth house is, can you enjoy life like a child? Can you be in the flow? Only children, they're full of energy. They discover newfound joy in life. And if you've been lacking joy, that's when it comes. When Jupiter enters your fifth house, you'll discover new hobbies, you'll discover talents that you are not aware of, and a lot of creative solutions to situations. So I can talk to you a lot about, Neptune, Saturn, Jupiter. The nodes are changing signs. They're moving out of water, entering fire and air. So a lot of supportive energy for Aries. Despite of Saturn will help you build something long-term over the next 2 years with a lot of support from other planets. Pluto, Uranus, Neptune, they would all be helping Aries. So check out the long version of this video if you want to hear in depth much more. 2 hours I speak about each influence, how many years it lasts, and so on. Thank you. Sun, Moon, or Rising 2026. Taurus, Saturn will be in your 12th house. You can hear a lot of astrologers, and that's the whole 2026, 2027 part of 2028 when it starts entering your sign. Very rare. This is the end of a 28-30 year cycle for you. And this is the last phase of that cycle. So maybe things that have been starting over the last 30 years, maybe not 30 years ago exactly, but sometime in the last 30 years, will start coming to an end. You naturally start becoming detached from them. This is one of the high vibration of Saturn, to be detached. Maybe you are very much into something, into a career, or very much into some kind of Saturn rules your 10th house, rules your 9th house, into some type of lifestyle, or into a person, or whatever, some recurring issue or situation in your life. It starts fizzling out over the next 2 years. There is more and more, either out of circumstances or naturally within itself, it starts dissolving the attachments that we have. And because it's a preparation phase. A lot of astrologers call Saturn through the 12 houses. Oh, you're stuck, you're in suspense, you're confused, you're depressed, for your mental health, it's like you're in prison. I just went through Saturn through my 12th house from my sun. I call it a sacred pose. I call it a sacred pose rather than prison and suspense. Because this is the time the soul forces you to slow down. To the external, especially the hustle and bustle of the external world, rushing around, doing, and you had for a little bit Saturn in the 12th house in 2025, maybe you got a bit of an inkling. But this sacred pose is when the soul deconstructs and helps prepare you for the new phase of 30 years that will start when Saturn moves into Taurus from 2028. Brand new beginning, very powerful new direction in life. But first you need to decouple from the past. You need to release the past, so there can be some endings. Some people can say it's losses. I call it's being saved from something and being released from something you no longer need. And as I said, it's very often the process is natural, that you naturally decouple from certain attachments, addictions, 12 house rules addictions, and that you consciously work on them as well, that you put some efforts there, because this will be just a burden for you in the next 30-year cycle that starts from 2028. So a lot of people really can work a lot on their mental health. The sacred pose is when the body kind of like is in, the soul, the psyche is in gestation phase before the birth of the new you, with Saturn in the first house through your sun, moon, or ascendant. There is the gestation phase, like the pregnancy phase, where you still don't know what sex the baby is, what the new you will be, when you're still not sure where you're heading, what the future will be. You're noticing that certain things have to end. You're noticing that things calm down, become slower, that it's difficult to do external changes, and that it's difficult to make big kind of like big new beginnings. Don't stress yourself. Be patient. They will come. You also had a lot of changes with Uranus through your sign, but Uranus is leaving in April, your sign Taurus. So you're left alone to take a pause, the sacred pause, to rest. Because Uranus over the last 8 years was like bam, bam, bam for some of you, turning your life upside down almost, with shocks, very fast moving changes, which is disruptive for Taurus. Taurus is supposed to be, it was necessary, but it's more stressful than for other signs. And Taurus, Uranus is leaving you from April 2026. So no big sudden life changes that turn your life around. It's more like a time for a rest, 26, 27. Take a break, work with the subconscious. Sometimes, like I work with a psychologist, positive one, spiritual psychologist. We look at past life, attachments, addictions. Positively, I summarize the achievements I've had so I can look at myself positively, embrace. It's good for psychological work with Saturn in the 12th house. It's good for healing past wounds. Even if you're not doing it consciously with Saturn in the 12th house, something magical happens, like in your dreams, you work through past. Maybe you can even dream a lot more about the past because your soul is doing a recap of the past. And suppressed feelings, unprocessed traumas, they kind of get worked on. It's an internal process. People that are spiritual, that like isolation, being alone, they go through the spirit of Saturn in the 12th house much better. I'm a big loner the past 2 years. Yes, I was social at times, but I was also long periods alone. Sometimes 16 hours per day I'm in my bedroom. Not necessarily sleeping, thinking, researching. 12th house is about researching, studying, getting in touch with your soul, doing meditations. And I really love that sacred pose. Yeah, I was frustrated sometimes, like, oh, what's next? I want the next thing. I want to push it. I want to push this new beginning. But I had things to lose, ends to tie, things to complete, to end, to prepare. So it's also ending stuff and preparing for the new. Is this gestational period? Just like a pregnant woman, you need to be more careful, spend more time alone, rest. Sometimes sleep is influenced because the internal world is very kind of, that's where the inner work is happening. So sleep can be a bit, my sleep has been kind of, because I think about a lot of things and so on. So it's been hard falling asleep with Saturn in my 12th house. But yeah, this also, you can learn to put some sleep discipline, because 12th house is dreaming, sleeping. Saturn is to discipline yourself there, to find the routine with your sleeping, because sleeping will prepare you to have the energy for the new beginnings that come. And on a material level, there can be some important events connected to foreign countries, to faraway places, to research and studies. But otherwise, it's a lot more psychological, Saturn in the 12th. But let's go to Jupiter. Where are the good things in 2026? The first half of 2026, Jupiter is in your 3rd house, Taurus. Oh, I forgot to show this. Of course. Here you are, Saturn in your 12th house. Jupiter is in your 3rd house, so till July, Jupiter says it's good time to make contacts. Saturn says, yeah, you need alone time. 12th house is isolation, resting, maybe even kind of just having alone, quiet time to rethink things. Journaling, whatever you want. Meditation, working on your addiction. Saturn to the 12th house is amazing time to detach from addictions, from things that are self-sabotaging you and ending such behaviors. While Jupiter in your 3rd house says, okay, we're gonna create with more ease some contacts, everyday people. You can, have new nicer neighbors, move to a nicer neighborhood, for example, or your relationship with siblings or teammates, workmates, relatives can improve. There can be some good news, like when I had Jupiter in my 3rd house, my brother got married. Good news with siblings, with relatives. There can be kind of good things connected to your commute. 3rd house is commute. If you have to work, there's some easier circumstances there when it comes to commuting, transportation, communications, making easy. I made a lot of friends with Jupiter through the 3rd house. Not friends, but people I can hang out with, because I told you I'm a loner, and with Jupiter in the 3rd house was easier to connect. And you've had Jupiter in the 3rd house from July 2025. It will stay till July 2026, let's say. So yeah, make connections. This is good, the first part of the year. If you have to buy anything to do with laptops, phones, great time. For the first time in 8 years, I got a new phone with Jupiter through my 3rd house. I had an old model, 2008, 18 or something. Jupiter in my 3rd house, I found a great phone, yay. Or if you want to buy a car, if you want to study or learn something, Jupiter through the 3rd house is amazing. It will happen with ease. Your mind becomes more open to new information, to connecting with new people, to sharing ideas with others and receiving good ideas from others. It's good for business, contacts, marketing, advertising with Jupiter in the third house. I had a lot of short trips. Jupiter in the third house is great if you want to travel anywhere, buy cars, go short-term travel. Yeah. These are short travels, third house. You become more curious about the everyday things around you, news and so on. But you can also overwhelm yourself with too much information, while Saturn in the 12th needs some retreat. Because I just went through Saturn in the 12th and Jupiter in the 3rd, I can tell you. So I was busy with Jupiter in the 3rd, interested about the world, what's happening around me, meeting new people, communicating, having a lot of conversations, communications, business ideas as well, a lot of marketing, media work as well. But I also needed a lot of retreat with Saturn in the 12th. So like record videos, third house is that, or go and be social, third house. And then I'll need a couple of days just on my own to shake off everything. Right. And then Jupiter from July enters your fourth house, Taurus. So it's going to be from July 2026 till July 2027. Now, so both Jupiter and Saturn will be working in personal, emotional houses, emotional release, healing. Jupiter starts helping Saturn with its work of processing out traumas, closing certain chapters, rethinking the past, reconstructing the past and seeing it in a different way that makes you filled and healed emotionally. It can be also about healing generational trauma or ancestral patterns from your family, the repeating negative patterns that Jupiter really helps you with realization. Jupiter is about realizing something, understanding it on a higher level, and the shift happens naturally once you have this aha moment about those repeating patterns, psychological, emotional, from ancestry, from past, how you're doing them and releasing them and changing them. It can help you improve your relationship with family. It can extend family. We added another family member with Jupiter through my fourth house now. Expand family. It's very good for settling, finding a right place to live, finding a place where you feel more at home, like your safe haven. We bought a property with Jupiter transiting my fourth house from the sun. So, maybe expanding the house or something good coming to you from family, or improving relationship with parents, or becoming a parent yourself, or just emotional happiness and healing. There is this feeling much more emotionally secure, much more emotionally fulfilled and content, this kind of warmth in the stomach here. It can also help heal stomach issues when Jupiter is in the fourth house, because that's connected to the stomach and that area around here as well. So yeah, this is emotional anchor that comes home from the second part of the year, becomes like your cornerstone of support and positive things happening there. Or some people can adopt like a pet, so they feel this more family love. Others can be like there's just more bonding with the family or extended family, or something with property, real estate goes well, or just emotional healing. And we're going to have the nodes changing signs. The eclipses start happening on the axis of career and home. So for already from February 2026 and 2027. So there'll be also big changes with where we live, where you work, the 10th house, career, personal life. But we'll speak about that in the extended version of this video. You can check it out. It's only $19. It's at the discount now. It's 2.5 hours, and I go much more in depth about Saturn, about Jupiter, about Uranus, about where life is heading for you. So yeah, it's okay to take it more easy, Taurus. It's a period of healing that starts. It's a period of releasing the past and preparing for the new. Thank you. Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising 2026. Gemini, there's so much support for the air and fire signs this year. Gradually, all the planets move. Saturn, Jupiter, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto is already there. All the big players move into fire and air signs. And the North Node enters the air sign as well from July. So everything kind of, when all the other planets are in fire and air signs, these are the supportive signs for a new air sign. So it's like the whole universe starts conspiring to help the fire signs, the air signs, especially the air signs, because Saturn and Jupiter will be making sextiles. The nodes, it's crazy. I love it. You know, we're coming on fire now. The air signs, the fire signs. And let's go through Saturn first. Where is Saturn? Saturn enters from February in your 11th house and is going to stay there for 2 years non-stop, 26, 27 into 28. Wherever Saturn goes, and Saturn actually is a good planet for you because it rules the ninth house. We call it a lucky house. So despite Saturn being a difficult planet by nature, it's ruling a good house is what it kind of tends to have more positive results, Saturn transits. Yes, they have the heavy energy with it and having to work and commitment and postponement of gratification in your case because of new long-term goals that you have, but the results can be very productive. And Saturn is naturally happy in the 11th house. It's a natural house for it because the 11th house is the house where we build our dreams and long-term goals. You want to be a ballerina or you want to be a writer. It's a dream of yours. You want to be recognized socially as something, you know. You want to be a millionaire. Everyone has different goals, social, economic goals. You want to be recognized in a society of poets. You want to be recognized in a society of astrologers, whatever. Those socio-economic goals and dreams is the 11th house. And Saturn, what does it do? It makes us work consistently, day by day. It's not afraid of repetitive work. It's not afraid of getting itself dirty towards those goals. So it's like these 2 years, you're given a chance to work towards long-term goals and dreams, towards gradually, you know, climbing towards those and even sacrificing pleasures, immediate gratifications, frivolities for those long-term goals. And Saturn is sextiling Gemini, so especially the first 15 degrees of Gemini will feel Saturn very strongly in 2026. From 0 to 15 Gemini, this Mother May born, and the first 5 days of June Gemini. Whatever you start now, whatever you are doing 2026, it will have long-lasting results and rewards for you. Long-lasting positive. It's not gonna be like you do it today and then in 1 year you stop doing it. No, this is something that will be giving, what is 11th house? Rewards for you in the long term. Gainfulness as well. 11th house is about being gainful, your business being gainful, you making more money, you know, something like that. So bonuses, you might be working towards increase of salary. You might be working towards, yes, you have to put efforts, it is Saturn, but you would also be able by the end of this period, by the end of 2027, to turn back and say, okay, I really secured my gainfulness in life. I really moved much closer towards fulfilling some dream or goal of mine. 11th houses, people that are your followers, your clients, your viewers, if you're in that. And Saturn there does a lot of hard work in regards to that, towards marketing, towards connecting with clients, towards reframing and restructuring your business plans or your business networks as well. And it's actually a very productive time to create business contacts, contacts that help you achieve some goal, more ones that are useful to you rather than for pleasure. But it limits pleasant social interactions. Not pleasant, but the ones for fun, like, oh, let's go out, let's party. So it might bring some limitations about friendships, but you'd create other contacts and networks that are more, and you'd naturally be more inclined to be in contact more with people who are useful for you in some way, that can, maybe you have similar ideas, maybe you're working together on a project, maybe they can give you some advice, maybe they're like benefactors, maybe they're part of a group with similar interests that can promote your own interest as well, rather than just hang out for fun. And actually, when Saturn is in the 11th house, you can eliminate certain friends from your life that are no longer serving you, that are wasting your time. You see who your true friends are when Saturn is in the 11th. You see the ones that, and actually long-term friendships can be fortified and strengthened. But the ones that are superficial, they fall off. For me, for example, I moved then, and the people I was for years before that socially, they just fell off through my life. Not that they were bad people, that it was, I it's kind of like I was isolated socially during that time. But all my social contacts were with people that I was working around that time. So it's good for business contacts and so on, but maybe less so easy for personal satisfaction friendships, and they kind of test it as well. And the ones that are truly good, that are truly mature and useful, they'll stay in your life, even become stronger. Or you can be just in the company of older people as well. But yeah, there is the seriousness that you work towards long-term goals and dreams there, socioeconomic goals. And as I said, also its rewards is the 11th house, and Saturn rules your 9th house. So there can be rewards. It's a lucky house. So if you've been putting the efforts before that for in certain direction of your life, now you can start reaping the rewards gradually, slowly, but they're long-lasting rewards. At the same time, Jupiter, let's see where things happen with these. Instead of, Saturn is like you have to put the effort, you have to negate certain freedoms and immediate frivolities and pleasures and distractions to achieve the goals of this 11th house. Social, economic success and so on. And maybe titles and honors. But with Jupiter, it comes with ease. And Jupiter is in your 3rd house till July. It started from June 2025, continues till July 2026. So that's the 3rd house, carries the energy of Gemini. So very similar to you. So you become, the Geminianness is enhanced. So you see, it's in your 2nd house. I'm talking rubbish. Jupiter entered your 2nd house from June 2025 and stays there till July 2026. So this is your 2nd house, is financial house. You see, this is gains as well with the social, financial house, business house. 2nd house is your financial security. So you can become more financially stable. You can even secure more money by July. Something that you do now that becomes a source of income or becomes a source of financial stability for a long term. And it's not only just money, it's resources. For example, our neighbor, when he had Jupiter transiting his 2nd house, he found resources that will be lasting. He found water in his yard and did like a well. That's securing resources for the long term to water his vegetables. Here in Bulgaria, a lot of people grow up their own food. And 2nd house is the house of money, and resources. So you can secure better resources for your business, better materials with ease. You can align yourself to higher quality clothes. You can understand a lot about, say, for example, some clothes, because 2nd house is clothes, materials, in your environment. Some are very low vibrational, the artificial ones. Others have high vibration, like linen, like cotton, like wood, like the natural things. And you gain knowledge and intuitive understanding about any kind of resources and material possessions. And even you can like intuitively invest in something that in the long term returns for you. Maybe you buy a piece of art, or maybe you buy something that grows its value. You intuitively will know it. Cancer is extremely intuitive. Jupiter is exalted there. So if you're drawn to invest money in something or in some assets or something material, you'll do the right choice with Jupiter in your 2nd house. And it will be something that you can keep getting back and receiving returns or growth materially and financially for years ahead. I changed my clothes, a lot of them. I threw out a lot of like artificial materials with Jupiter in my 2nd house, because I intuitively felt and I started buying toys that are not plastic and that are more wooden and so on, natural. Jupiter is knowledge, what is truly good for you. Also, the foods is the 2nd house. Jupiter will help you naturally be drawn to the foods that are good for you, that are good for your body. It will also expand your repertoire of cooking. I started cooking a lot with Jupiter in the 2nd house, and I naturally felt drawn to foreign food, which is Asian. I realized it aligns great for me because I'm a carb-based person, and Asians have a lot of natural, healthy carbs and vegetables. So you expand how you eat and what you Maybe hopefully not like eat more, but it's just like you discover new, naturally more healthy options for you. You learn about food, you learn about resources, about what you put in your body as well. And also, you can learn about money. You can take courses about money. You can intuitively do meditation, expansion, how to grow your money, or opportunities can come in regards to that. And then Jupiter moves from July into your third house. Remember what I first started talking about, how it makes you more Geminian in nature when Jupiter is in your third house. You start getting more social. Now, you see Saturn here is keeping close watch on who you let in your immediate environment, in your social circle. It doesn't want time wasters. So you're not gonna be like, uh, anyone can. So Saturn gives discrimination, while Jupiter is the opposite. It embraces, we're all one. So you see, Jupiter will allow new people to enter your life, to create new bridges, new friendships, new collaborations, new associates, colleagues. And your relationships with siblings, with relatives, with neighbors will improve when Jupiter enters your third house. uh, for me, it was we finally made friends with the neighbors when Jupiter entered my third house, and they've been extremely helpful. Our kids play together, they watch our yard, we watch theirs, and I've never had friendships with neighbors before. So I was like, wow, this really works. Jupiter in the third house, good neighborhood relationships, good teammates, workmates relationships, your teamwork, better teamwork as well. Uh, well, Saturn, so you see both Saturn and Jupiter from the second part of the year are in social houses. Uh, so Saturn makes sure these are relationships that are useful for you, and if anyone crosses a boundary or border, you cut them off, while Jupiter allows you new quality people to enter your life, something good to happen in the life of siblings or in project in your neighborhood to get involved. Also, it's good time to buy cars, phones for a year ahead from July onwards, because third house is communication, devices. Like I said, I bought my first new phone since 2018 when Jupiter entered. Last it was in this year, still in my third house in the spring. So yeah, I was like, finally a new phone. And you can buy new phones or cars, or they can be improvement of your commute, like easier way to get to work, faster way somehow as well. More short trips, more acquaintances, and more easier to learn. When Jupiter transits the third house, your mind opens up, you become more curious about the world around. You start listening to advice from others and brainstorming, and you get a lot of good feedback from others as well. So yeah, building bridges, with the right bridges though, not like random people that you let into your life, because Saturn keeps the discrimination. And it's like the second part of the year gets socially very important. You can meet in people that are impact your life for good, for many years ahead. Um, you can make business connections. It's very good for people that work in social media. The output increases, Jupiter increases, like work, content creation of media, of videos, of writing, or it can be good of writing a book. It can be good about creating content about anything to do with documents and papers will align, will arrange itself well as well. Good news from family, like relatives, siblings, and so on. So yeah, that's quite, and it's stimulating for the mind, and it's life becomes more interesting, curious, just very Geminian energy that gets expanded. Of course, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto will also be helping you. Uranus will enter from April, your sign, Gemini, and Uranus is very compatible with your sign. From the end of April, Uranus enters, and the first 5 degrees, 6 degrees of Gemini will have their life turned around. Powerful new beginnings. Because Uranus, when it transits those first 6 degrees in 2026, your life will never be the same again. But for Gemini, it's great because Uranus rules your ninth house. It's a planet of lucky house, and Saturn also rules it. But it's kind of like new opportunities, new horizons, but your life will change overnight. And you kind of like, you feel like it's lucky opportunities, might to do with foreign travel, with learning, with studying, as well as the ruler of the ninth house, or just your worldview switching, suddenly shifting and you're a brand new person. You see reality in a different way. It's an overnight change. It's very fast. It's only those first 5-6 degrees in Gemini. I speak a lot more how Neptune is helping you, how Pluto is helping you from Aquarius, and how the nodes moving into Aquarius and Leo, and Venus retrograde, as we'll have Venus retrograde in Libra and Scorpio, how this will affect you in my 2-hour video for Gemini. It's only $19. Check it out. If you like my style of teaching, but I go way more in depth there with a lot of personal stories, examples, how this works. It's fascinating. A lot of support for us. Thank you. Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising 2026. Cancer, this year, we're starting with Saturn moving from your 9th house into your 10th house, Neptune as well. But this is the most visible, the highest house. You see, if this is the axis you're born, your Cancer, this is the top of the horoscope, where Saturn is moving into stay the whole 26, 27, and into 28. So the most important work you'll be doing as Cancers is this reputation. Saturn will restructure your reputation, your social standing. You know, the 10th house is, what is your position in society? Are you respected? Are you... And that's your position in society, like your status. Are you married? Are you single? Are you professional? Are you a boss? Are you a plumber? Are you a doctor? Whatever your professional status is. So Saturn there is asking you to work on that for the next 2 years. It can be very defining. Whatever you achieve now will give you influence for the next 30 years. Some of you, it might mean starting an internship. Depends how old you are. And starting first steps in your career. So you really have to prove yourself there. You really have to work long hours. Saturn is about putting efforts. You really need to kind of sacrifice personal frivolities and distractions and immediate gratifications for the long term, because you want to achieve something in your social status. For others, it can be if you've been working hard for years, if you've been putting the hours there already. Saturn through the 10th house can mean your pinnacle of achievements. When you're given the most responsibility, when you become a boss, when you're promoted, when, like a friend of mine, when she had Saturn through the 10th house, she's been always a very good lawyer, and suddenly she gets promoted to a deputy of the town, and very much higher responsibility given to her. So people that are already established professionally and they're in the right field or whatever, they can just, and they've put a lot of work through it, this is reward time. This is time where you'll be given more responsibility with that. It doesn't just come with the social status that you receive, more respect, more authority, but it comes with more responsibilities. It comes with more work as well. But it's kind of some pinnacle there. While those who are not in the right career field, when Saturn transits the 10th house, the dissatisfaction grows, because Saturn always shows you the things that don't work and the things that need to be corrected. So maybe problems will start happening at work. Maybe the boss that is difficult, very demanding or unfair, cruel, or maybe some kind of like the company breaks down, and that these will be your signs that this is not the right field, or this is not the right professional direction for you, or this is not the right company. So Saturn on another level can restructure your career and push you into the direction that is more aligned for you, let's say. But Saturn also rules the 7th house. When it's in the 10th house, a partner can contribute to your career. Someone can direct you, can help you, like an advisor, or someone that you can help you towards your achievements, or your marriage partner somehow, or business partner can contribute to your career, to the right social status. Sometimes social status changes from single to married, from married to single as well, because there is the involvement of the 7th house of relationships here. So there is like a big shift why some people getting married, some getting divorced, some starting a career, others ending a career that's not the right one, but starting a new, different direction, or restructuring, or maybe you're in the right career, but you need to do the restructuring of that career. When Saturn was transiting my 10th house, I became very strongly aware of what was not working structurally wise in my business, and I automated a lot of things. I changed the whole website. For 2 years, I worked on that to make it more streamlined, elegant, efficient. This is what Saturn is about. So if you're in the right career, you might be doing some restructuring, reorganizing, kind of consolidating the work so it runs itself when Saturn leaves the 10th house. But the hard work is while it's in the 10th house, you do this kind of reorganizing, and after that you can allow it to run on its own. So it's much easier when Saturn leaves the 10th house. But you do the structural changes. Then maybe you'll be called into some supervising actions. Maybe you'll be called to oversee others. There's the position of the boss. Also, there can be some clashes with father figures or authority figures. Is very natural with Saturn in the 10th house. And you need to be respectful of people with authority, whether it's institutions, policemen, bosses, older people, authority figures. Because Saturn is in the 10th house, they have the upper hand. Instead of trying to fight them, give them their respect. And you have to respect the law a lot. Saturn can, in the 10th, you can succeed a lot if you do it in a lawful way over the next 2 years. If you do it in the tried and tested way, no kind of trying to get through easy ways, fast track. And yeah, you might have to work on your relationships with authority figures, or with authority figures. They might be, as I said, some more. If you work for yourself, your inner responsibility grows. You become more mature, more harder boss on yourself, let's say. You push yourself harder. You put more limits to yourself, more structure. If you have other bosses, they might be the ones pushing you. You can feel like the pressure is coming for them. But again, they want to make, like the universe works through authority figures to help us to create the diamond, to put the pressure on us. So out of carbon, we create a diamond. But yeah, there's this focus on changing your social position, on achievements, and this is a natural house for Saturn, the 10th house. More responsibility as a parent, as a business owner, as or some big change that you're doing in regards to your social status, career. Sometimes people retire, sometimes they start a job, a work, professional life. Sometimes they're given positions of authority. Sometimes they have to restructure their career, as I said. Now, this is what Saturn wants from us. Yes, especially the first 15 degrees Cancers, born from 0 till 15 degrees. This will be mostly the June-born Cancers and the first 5-6 July-born Cancers. Saturn squares them. So there is pressure. As I said, the making of the diamond, there is pressure, more responsibilities, some obstacles they have to overcome. But it's also a maturation process where they learn to be more responsible with their health, with their, if it's the moon, with their feelings, with their emotions, with their, in their personal life, in their relationships. If it's the ascendant also, it's again career, relationships, because Saturn rules the 7th house. There is this call for maturation and to take responsibility and to take control of your life. Saturn is good through the 10th house. When Saturn was squaring my sun from the, from the 10th, from the sun, I had a lot of work, but I was working very hard, but a lot of responsibilities. I was a brand new parent, so all these 10th house responsibilities, a parent, a boss, but it was very successful at my work. I was just under a lot of pressure. I was putting myself under a lot of pressure. I did a lot of new products and restructuring the business and so on. So it can be extremely productive, successful time if you're in the right direction. All right. Then the other big event is that Jupiter first is in Cancer the first 6 months. So despite of Saturn there squaring you, Jupiter is helping you and it's protecting you till July. It's protecting your health, your life force, your energy, because Saturn sometimes with a square can drain a little bit of that life force and energy, but Jupiter says, don't worry, I keep giving there. So this is very rare. Jupiter entered your sign from June 2025, stays there till July 2026. Once in 12 years, Jupiter is in your sign. Jupiter is the great benefic. Saturn is the great tester. Jupiter is the great benefic. And Jupiter is really helping you. It is saying that it also rules your ninth house of luck. It's helping you be more lucky. It's wonderful for learning, for teaching, for traveling till July. If you have to travel to foreign country, if you want to study something, it will happen with ease. And that studying can be about also improving your professional qualifications, Saturn in the 10th house. That studying, as Jupiter is the ruler of the ninth, can be about opening horizons for you professionally to have more responsibilities and higher status as well. Jupiter is also about healing, because it rules the sixth house of health or health issues. It can give you solutions to long-standing health issues now, like a second opinion from a doctor, or a solution to a long-standing health issue, or improved understanding about what kind of health routines to follow that will maintain your body and your health in a better way. And Jupiter in the first house is very much about expansion, opportunities coming to you. If it's your sun in Cancer, Jupiter says like there will be opportunities for you. Saturn in the 10th says, okay, you'd have to work hard. You have to do there might be some challenges you have to work around to manifest, to materialize what you want. But Jupiter brings the opportunity for you professionally as well. If it's your sun in Cancer, if it's your moon, it's your personal life, it's your personal emotional life that Jupiter can bless. Sometimes a person becomes a parent when Jupiter transits their moon sign. Sometimes they have improved relationships with family. Sometimes their female hormones improve for a woman. Sometimes they just improve their romantic and emotional attachments with others as well. Just start feeling happier, better in some way, or with home or property or real estate. If it's your moon in Cancer, Jupiter tends to bring positive developments there till July. If it's your ascendant, it's everything that we talked about. It's your new path. There is like some mini new beginning for you that will keep growing over the next 12 years, because Jupiter comes back to Cancer. Some new role that you can embrace till July. It can be a new role of work, as Jupiter rules the sixth house, or new role of like a new direction. Jupiter is the ruler of the ninth house, like new education, new knowledge, that new purpose and meaning in life that excites you, that brings joy, that brings meaning to your life, that brings abundance. That's another meaning of Jupiter, and luck. So you're very lucky till July. And after that, Jupiter moves to your fifth house, second house, from July, and will stay there for a whole year till the middle of 2027. So the second part of the year, you see, we already have Saturn in the 10th house, and now Jupiter moves into another fire sign, which is your second house for Cancers. So the second part of the year becomes very good. They start working together in a trine. Your career, your money, to secure the material side of your life really starts lining up from the second part of the year. Finances, security, social status, your duties and responsibilities, it's easier to fulfill them. You can discover new financial opportunities that appear to you when Jupiter enters the second house. New opportunities that can unfold and that can be a source of income for you over the next 12 years. Or you can intuitively know where to invest your money. Second house is investments. Maybe you buy a piece of painting. Maybe you buy gold. Leo is gold. Maybe you buy something that grows in value over the next 12 hours, and you would intuitively be drawn, or it will come as an opportunity to you. So Jupiter will expand your sense of stability, your financial security through financial opportunities or investments that are the right ones, even kind of returns from investments already made. Also, you'd be aligned, your tastes, second house is taste, what materials, what is around you. Jupiter will give you knowledge about the more natural ones that are more aligned vibrationally to you, higher quality possessions, assets around you. Acquisition, people tend to spend and make more when Jupiter is in the second house. Money comes in, money goes out. But don't be afraid, because money needs its energy, its currency. It needs to rotate. If you stuck it and if you keep all your possessions, and you can spend, but it keeps coming and more coming. You invest in something, more comes. So there is this rotation of finances. Money comes, but you also start feeling the flow of money and understanding on an intuitive level the energy of abundance. Some people take courses for abundance, or about money growth and money consciousness, because Jupiter is about consciousness. So you kind of intuitively or on purpose, you'd grow your belief in yourself about being self-sustainable, about being able to take care of yourself materially. And many times, often finances grow a couple of times, like a bigger salary, or your business starts making more. And also you expand your what you eat, the materials around you. Maybe you get more natural ones, more higher quality and vibration. Your possessions can grow, more possessions, or your understanding about food, how you eat. From the second part of the year, you can start eating more foreign, or foods that are more aligned to you vibrationally and energetically. So there you go. And of course, the nodes will change signs. The nodes will go into Leo and the 8th house. So there'll be from the second part of the year, big, huge influence on money and resources that comes to you, that you make on your own, and that comes to you through others as well. So there'll be a big shift there. But I'll speak much more in depth about this in my yearly in-depth videos that are 2 hours for each sign. And we cover Neptune and Uranus, how it will affect you, and Pluto, the eclipses, how they would affect you, and so on. So if you want, it's just $19. This is just like a quick peek preview off the top of my head. And if you like my style of teaching, of explaining, I have way more personal video for the 2026 for Cancer that goes with personal stories, examples from many friends and clients, how these planets affected them in those positions. Thank you. Sun, Moon, Rising 2026. Leo, in 2025 and 2024, we had the majority of planets, the major players in water, the nodes, Jupiter, Saturn. So maybe it felt a bit heavy. We're fire, we want lightness. Anyone who is Leo, Sun, Moon, or Rising, they want things to be, happening, and planets kind of pushed us into those subconscious houses. Jupiter in your 12th house, Saturn in your 8th house, working with feelings, working with the subconscious on old traumas. So there might have been this feeling of being stuck, especially 2025, 2024 as well, because of this, water, what does water do? Water takes out fire. So our fire might have been taken out a bit. But it was a good period to detox, 2025, to let go of the past, to go introspective, to work on your subconscious, to clear up unprocessed feelings and emotions. But it's emotional process, and it's not an external so much as it's an internal. But thankfully in 2026, all the energy starts moving into fire, so we'll get activated. We won't feel so stuck and backlogged with feelings, emotions, or subconscious processes that we're not even aware of. And we'll start feeling more like ourselves. The more 2026 comes, first Saturn and Neptune enter into fire, Aries, into your 9th house, which is an inspirational, visionary house. And you start kind of Saturn there for the next 2 years, 26, 27 into 2028, will be making a trine to Leo. In 2026, the first 15 degrees of Leo will feel Saturn from 0 till 15. In 2027, the second 15 degrees will feel Saturn from 15 till 30. Saturn has stabilizing influence on us by its trine. Saturn it helps you hold the vision for the future, 9 houses and the future, and holding this vision, materializing it, walking towards it. So the things that you start now in 2026, the first 15 degrees of Leo, or 2027, the second 15 degrees of Leo, from 15 to 30, will be long lasting. When Saturn makes a trine to your sun, if it's in Leo, your career-wise stabilizes. You still have to work hard, but there is a purpose and a meaning, and it's stabilizing long-term results and effects. Yes, slowly but surely growth, and going towards what you want. If it's your moon in Leo, it's more like stabilizing about your feelings, your emotions, your hormones for women, your health as well. Why not? The moon is very connected to the health, especially of women. It's stabilizing your relationships, your marriages, your relationships with parents, or your parental responsibilities kind of becomes harmonious. Yes, there is more of those responsibilities, but you're doing them with purpose, with meaning, with it stabilizes your life, your living situation, your personal life situation stabilizes, um, and it's secure, no shocks. If it's your ascendant in Leo, it's stabilizing for yourself as a person, your path in life, and your stability in life overall. And whatever you begin again, because the first house is beginnings, if it's your ascendant, it's kind of long lasting. You can have long lasting effects for you in a positive way. Well, though otherwise, Saturn through the ninth house is known to sometimes to give us like some existential crisis. What is the purpose of life? Looking for answers to those big questions. What is my purpose? Well, what is life here? So some of you can even go more philosophical, try study astrology, cosmology, religions, philosophy, things that coaching, finding a coach in life that can structure your life a little bit, that can help you extract the purpose and meaning for you and the main goals. Because the ninth house is a house of a future, and Saturn there wants to make you work hard a bit on planning your future, organizing your future, and the meaning that you have in life, and find a more meaning that is rooted in something more truthful. So sometimes people can have a bit of an existential crisis. What is the purpose of life? Why am I here? And that can start like a big transformation, in the sense that sometimes people start learning. They realize I'm not in the right career. They decide to pre-qualify when Saturn is in the ninth house, because they realign with their new goals when Saturn is there about themselves, new goals and visions for themselves. So it's good time if you want to study something. Saturn puts hard effort wherever it goes. So study, education, higher knowledge of some sort, or to teach. Saturn can give you responsibilities with teaching others, with coaching others, with being kind of in a paternal or guardian or guidance role to others, or searching out such more mature, experienced figures in your life to put as a guide, as a father figure, as a moral compass, to follow them as well. Saturn also makes you work hard on your moral compass. So it can present some moral dilemmas, whether you should do this or that. Is it right morally or no? And you have to battle sometimes through that. And to, of course, hopefully to choose the higher and the right path. Sometimes it's about a dilemma connected to law and law and order. In the ninth house is the judiciary, not like the law system, And sometimes, in more extreme cases, it can be like some legal matters that you're dealing with, legalizing your citizenship somewhere, dealing with institutions and legal kind of documentations for foreign living, and putting efforts there. That's when Saturn was transiting the ninth house from my sun. I moved to America, and those 2 years was all about documents, green cards, interviews. Saturn doesn't block things from happening. It's just onerous, you need to do this thing. It's you have to. Saturn's word is you have to. So some of you might be dealing with such things like ninth houses, foreign places as well. Others can be dealing with some kind of other legal matters to, make things more legal. Okay, I don't want to repeat myself. Or it can be about learning higher knowledge, as I said. And questioning the big questions. For me, when Saturn transited the ninth from my ascendant, I started doing astrology. I started professionally doing it. Ninth house is higher knowledge, and I started studying traditional astrology then. And I had an older teacher that I really respected, who was a great helping hand to me. So older authority guidance figures as well. And sometimes this can put some pressure on relationship with father figures, Saturn in the ninth house, or some difficulty happening there. This is the more, unfortunately, sometimes such things happen. But otherwise, Saturn is very helpful from the ninth house. And it helps you see what are the next practical steps to take in your plans for your future, and to organize yourself. Long-term planning, it helps you be very good with long-term planning. With restriction, it happens more naturally. Postponement of gratification for some long-term goal. So this is kind of more serious side of you, but it's constructive, and it doesn't rob you of your spark. You do it because there is a purpose for it. And the first part of the year, Jupiter is in your 12th house. It moved there from June 2025, and will stay there till July 2026. Jupiter through the 12th house is, you might need, sorry about that. It's about completing certain attachments as well. And it's much easier to let go of attachments, whether it's addictions, whether it's emotional attachments to something that is, or someone that is no longer healthy for us. And Jupiter, wherever Jupiter is, it happens with ease for us. So you release, you let go of emotional attachments, of psychological attachments, or let go of certain things in your life, especially unhealthy habits, with ease. So wonderful time for that, but it's more internal work. You see, as I said, first Saturn was in your 8th house for many years, and Jupiter now joined. And you still have some inner work to do till July. And Jupiter there, it also gives the green light for anything to do with foreign countries, foreign travel. I haven't traveled foreign for a while, and now Jupiter entered my 12th house from my Leo moon. And I visited a foreign country, and I really enjoyed it. Jupiter, it's like things go wonderful. Or if you want to, and as I said, it can work together, like foreign citizenship, their document, Saturn in the 9th house, legalizing matters, while Jupiter gives you the green light for faraway places. Jupiter in the 12th house is wonderful for psychology work, for dream work, lucid dreaming. Oh my god, I've been having such vivid, crazy dreams as a Leo moon myself. And even I've been seeing things that happen in the future through my dreams, because Jupiter is the prophetic planet of seeing the future. And when it transits the 12th house, the invisible world can, or your ancestors, or your departed loved ones, or your guardian angels, call them however you want, they work through the 12th house, can give you very clear messages that are right about your future, or very clear guidance about your future. I had the best psychic reading in my life when Jupiter was transiting the 12th house from my ascendant. I was very confused where to go, what to do. I called a psychic, the first time I ever called a psychic. Never since then have I had such a good reading. And she said, she lined up, like God allowed that at that time to receive correct information. And she told me exactly how I'll be famous, I'll be teaching people. And I was not even doing astrology then, and it all came to pass. But it gave me, there was this opening to the other side, opening when Jupiter transits the 12th house, that you're allowed to see information, to be given information about the future, or about guidance that is important for you. You can even receive guidance intuitively. You become super intuitive when Jupiter is in the 12th house, or in your dreams, or just kind of you pick up things and you know what is true and what is not true. Oh my god. And it's about detoxing as well, this 12th house. And then Jupiter, the big news is Jupiter is entering your house, Leo, from July 2025 to 6, from the end of June, the beginning of July. It will stay there for 1 year. This is incredible. Only once every 12 years Jupiter enters your sign. So all eyes on you. Not only all eyes with you. This is your year from the second part. You see, Jupiter leaves one subconscious house, and enters the house of new beginnings for you. If it's your sun in Leo, you'll have big successes from the middle of 2026 till the middle of 2027 in your career. or something very good happening through important men in your life, in your goals, in your directions, just things lining up perfectly for you. If it's your moon in Leo, this 1 year when Jupiter will be there, there can be emotional healing, growth of the family, uh, happiness, emotional happiness, happy emotional connections and relationships, your personal life or home or place of living, finding the right place of living, home of living. If it's your ascendant, new direction in life, healing of the body. Even for the sun, moon, and their ascendant, they both, all three are connected to the health of the body, strengthening, improving, new opportunities coming to you. Jupiter naturally rules your fifth house, it's the house of good karma. So good karma is coming to you. Oh my God, sorry about that. Been sick for a whole month, can't get better. I can't wait for planets to move out of the water signs, come into the fire signs. I'm all fire. And when as fire, we have a lot of water planets transiting. It's like all the detox and all the kind of, there is weakness there. But when it comes into fire, progressively in 2026, we come into our power, into our strength, into our health, new opportunities, growth, even romantic love, because Jupiter rules the fifth house, comes as an opportunity for Leos from the second part of the year, or children, joy through children, or joy through some creative project that makes you feel alive, connected, sparkly. All of those things will come. It will be like a cloud is lifted from your life from July onwards. It will feel like this more and more. The more Jupiter enters into Leo, the more you'd feel alive, happy, opportunities coming, just like the blessings, the divine blessings of cornucopia, of abundance, your good luck as well. And also Jupiter rules the eighth house. Uh, as a rule of the eighth house, there can be sudden reversals, but they carry a silver lining for the good, with hidden opportunities and rewards in them, and money coming to you through others as well. Anyway, and the other big event is that the eclipses start happening in Leo, in Aquarius, already from February. There will be eclipses in your seventh, first house, February, then in August, and then in 2027 again. This is huge when eclipses are happening on the axis of your first and seventh house, or the axis of your sun, moon. This is fated relationships come. If you're single, maybe you'll meet someone you'll be for the next 18 years at least. Marriages, or big changes in relationships, big changes in your roles in life. Eclipses, and I speak exactly which degrees will be affected by these eclipses in my extended videos. You can check it out for 2026. It's only $19. It's 2 hours. For Leo, I go much more in depth about Saturn, about Jupiter, with stories, how they can, from real people, how Jupiter affected them through the first house, how North Node through the seventh house affected them, things that you're going to be having, how Uranus will affect you in your 11th house, how Neptune in the 9th house will affect you, how Pluto in the 7th house with the North Node will affect you. Huge real life stories that I give as an example. Thank you. But the universe is behind you. This becomes your year, Leos. It's like the whole planets conspire. Saturn's helping you with the trine. Jupiter will be there from the second part of the year, just rejuvenating your forces, your desire for life, your life spark comes back on. Uranus helping you from the 11th house. So many planets are conspiring to help you this year. Thank you. Sun, Moon, Rising 2026. Virgo. Let's start with Saturn, of course. Saturn is entering from February together with Neptune, your 8th house, and will stay there for 2 years. The whole 2026, the whole 2027, and part of 2028. So the universe asks you to put in order this house, the 8th house. What is it? First of all, make sure you fix and put in order your taxes. 8th house is taxes, money we owe others, money that is owed to us. Just be very, keep a very good inventory financially, let's say. And it can be great to help you rebudget, especially mutual finances together with a partner, to reorganize your finances. But also you have to be very meticulous about how you pay your taxes, or documentations about inheritances, insurances, all of those things. You have to be meticulous, because Saturn can kind of will show you where there are mistakes there. So make sure you put those things in order. Maybe you haven't left a will. Make a will or put like a trust um, for your loved ones, even if you're a young one, or even if you're young, you never know what can happen. Or you might be dealing with some documentations and arrangements of inheritance. Sometimes when Saturn transits the eighth house, some relative or someone can pass away. Eighth house is the house of death, and after that we're left with the working out of the inheritance and what we receive as a result. um, I just went through Saturn through the eighth house from my moon sign. It didn't deal with those things, but uh, yeah, there was more heavy responsibilities around taxes, let's say. But you also consolidate, make it streamline it, make it more automatic over those 2-3 years, so it's easier for you. Plus, we had to kind of tighten up the belt financially as a family, because eighth house is mutual finances together you have with another, whether it's like with your business partners or money coming to you through others. In my case, for years, money was coming to me through collaborators, other astrologers, and in the last couple of years, when Saturn was transiting my eighth house, it kind of diminished 5 times. I've been working a lot less with others, income coming to me through others. So the business partners, collaborators really decreased. But that was a good thing again as well, because I restructured financially. I uh, made myself more independent from them as well. So Saturn can help you for that as well. Maybe some source of income for you that comes through others um, can tighten up, so you find an alternative one. Also, we had to be financially with my partner more careful, because we did mutual investments. We bought property, we put all our savings in something, and we had to repair the property. So that can mean like tightening the belt together with a partner for some long term. So you, instead of going to restaurants, holidays, immediate gratification, you spend your finances in a more reasonable way, because you're planning for something long term. Saturn rules long term stuff. So, kind of spending, maybe you don't spend as much because of a mutual goal or something else that you're planning for. And yeah, so this is the eighth house, finances from others, resources. It's a financial house, so you kind of, that's the area. I remember the previous time Saturn through the eighth house from my ascendant, my current partner back then had to take a lower salary, but because he went into the career he really wanted. And a few years down the line, this sacrifice he made, because Saturn is about sacrifices, even though I wasn't with him anymore, paid really well for him, because he started making much more after that. So there can be a temporary sacrifice financially that you have to do, especially if your finances are dependent on others, are connected with others, or like a business partnership, or like government, relying on that. But it's for the long term, it's good. Also, it can be like taking on responsibilities connected to loans or mortgages. That's another way it can play out. Or learning how to, uh, if you want to consolidate your mortgage, if you want to repackage it. Saturn is about restructuring. This is also good when Saturn transits the eighth house. But the eighth house is also about intimacy. There can be some blockages on intimacy. And Saturn makes you look inside why is it hard for you to open up to others or to trust others? Such issues can come to the surface. Uh, or and to be reworked, because the eighth house is where we store the traumas, where we store the ability to trust the others. And usually if there was an abuse of power and of our trust, this is where we store it. And Saturn helps you slow down, so you can, such feelings that were suppressed, that were unexperienced, to reframe them, to re-experience them, and to, especially if we block them before from feeling. And some kind of a extended grief period can be there for a little bit. I know it sounds very heavy, Saturn in the eighth house, but it's not directly aspecting you, you see. But you might be, it's more subconscious. It's like some inner work on unprocessed feelings that you do on the past. For me, it was even not a conscious work. I worked with a psychologist for a year and a half when Saturn was in my 8th house. from the moon. And that was very helpful, helping me reframe and correct some painful memories and connect some painful experiences and help detach from them. So ultimately Saturn is about detachment. And so that can be like inner work that you do. And people that are in psychology, astrology, that are in such professions that are helping with others about such deeper feelings, that can be a very busy time, very hardworking time for them professionally. Or if you're working in banks, working with other people's money, resources, insurances, inheritances, if you're working in emergency services, or if you're working in astrology, the occult, these are all eighth house professions. Or if you're working like other people's money, as I said, yeah, this can this is what it can play out with. Both of my brother and sister-in-law, they're both Virgos, and they had to take on financial responsibilities together and tighten up the belt because like she can't work, they're raising a baby now, they just had a baby, so they had to be financially more responsible together like a couple, because Saturn was in your 8th house for 3 months this year, the summer. So you got a glimpse about it. And now it just means like maybe you tighten up the belt for a long-term goal or project. There must be a meaning in it, you know. Also, it's about yeah, it can be decreased intimacy because you have some other responsibilities, or it can be a period when you're working on hard on securing income to you that comes through others, or that you are taking responsibility and care of another person's finances or another person's assets in some way. So as I said, people that are bankers or that deal with such things, that can be very successful time for them. Otherwise, it's more internal work and processes and so on that is about healing traumas, but it's a slower process. It takes a couple of years. And then the other big event is that Jupiter, from the middle of 2025 till the middle of 2026, till July, is in your 11th house, which is the most favorite house of Jupiter. So, yeah, Saturn things are happening there. We spoke about them. But Jupiter is extremely strong, is in Cancer till July. This is its favorite sign and its favorite house from Virgo, only for Virgo. The favorite house of Jupiter, the 11th house, says you will be rewarded. You will be rewarded because it's the house of gainfulness, of rewards. Some of you might get kind of like a remuneration of some sort, a reward, a title, a degree of some sort, an honor of some sort. You might be accepted to a society or group or organization that is very useful for you and that's very helpful for you financially in the long term, or to fulfill your goals and dreams. You can fulfill a goal or dream of yours. This is the house of dreams, of something that you've always wanted. And Jupiter there gives you the green light till July and says, yes, you advance ahead to some long-term goal or dream that you've always had. And the one that is super aligned to it will happen with ease. Maybe benefactors will help you in some way as well, because 11th house rules like benefactors, those that believe in us as well. Also, if you're a business, this is your clients, the 11th house. The 11th house is your viewers. The 11th house is your fans. You can expand your fan base, your client base. That's why gainfulness comes again here. If your business can be more gainful, but interesting with Saturn in another financial house. You see, we have Saturn and Jupiter. Maybe you work to limit expenses in some way, because Saturn there wants to do some limitation, damage control, inventory, while at the same time growing your portfolio, growing your pool of contacts, business network, pool of clients as well. Jupiter, so yeah, they can be big financial rewards as well, while Saturn asks you to be responsible at the same time financially. And if you're doing mutual finance investments, don't do ones that are risky. Saturn says like maybe invest in something traditional, property, something like that has slower returns, but that is more secure. While Jupiter is allowing your business to prosper if you have a business, or to have a bigger salary or bigger rewards there. Also, Jupiter through the 11th house till July will expand your social circle. You can meet new friends. Even if you don't immediately realize these people will be important for you, it might be because it's a 12-year cycle, maybe 2-3 years down the line. People that you met now till July 2026, you realize that maybe a few years down the line you end up doing something important with them, that they end up helping you, that they end up being a very good asset for you, very good positive influence on you. Because Jupiter is extremely beneficial in Cancer. It's a very nice planet overall. So it's saying other people can be helping you now in some way. Ask for help and support, and you would receive it from friends. Expand your social circle. If you get invited to social events, whether it's a party or whether it's like a concert or a lecture where it's larger groups of people, of like-minded people, I would say go for it, because something good can come to you from there. Some good opportunity that you didn't expect. Maybe a friend introducing you to someone. And Jupiter rules your 7th house, even introducing you to a partner, relationship, business, or personal marriage partner of some sort that comes to you through a friend. Also, it's like anything to do with networking, do it, or participating in larger groups with people. Something good comes to you from there with Jupiter. Just like when I met a group of many friends, like 5 or 6 new friends, when Jupiter was transiting my 11th house. It was a very gainful year as well. My most successful financial year was with Jupiter in the 11th house, and when my channel grew the most. But those people, I met them, and a few years later after that, I started doing things with them. So it might not be immediate, but now your pool of contacts expands for a good, in a better way. And maybe a new goal or a dream can appear. And then from the second part of the year, oh my God. Jupiter from July enters your 12th house, Virgo. And this now, both Saturn and Jupiter, the second part of the year, are in more private, emotional houses. Houses of feelings, of past traumas, of past lifetimes, of subconscious feelings. So a lot of the work becomes inner work from the second part of the year. It feels like the first part of the year, it's more busy socially with Jupiter in the 11th house. It's more happening, while the second part is more introspective. Because these are introspective houses, the 12th, the 8th. And because they are fire signs, a lot of the psychological transformations that happen there will be faster and not so emotional. It will be like sudden realizations, much easier to let go of past addictions and attachments that no longer serve you. 12th house is the house of endings. And Jupiter in Leo, there you can like laser, you burn it off and you're not attached to this. So it will be much easier for you to let go of unhealthy, self-sabotaging habits, addictions from the second part of the year, to have psychological healing. So it is inner work, but it's very important because it puts the foundation for you. When you do the cleaning, it's like an astral cleaning. And it can be even physical detox that you experience through coughs, through detoxing of some sort, and even needing to have more time alone and lying down and more time sleeping. Jupiter through the 12th house is very good for your sleep, because this is when the body prepares, the psyche prepares, so the body needs more time to rest. So if you start feeling like you need more time alone, both those houses, the 8th and the 12th, are lonely houses. Like you need to spend time alone to shake off the feelings. The soul is healing then. The soul is in a kind of gestation period when Jupiter is in the 12th house. And there can be a lot of, even you can receive signs and messages from the invisible world with Jupiter in the 12th house. I've been having dreams that keep coming true when Jupiter entered my 12th house. My dreams never come true. They're crazy, weird stuff. But this time they have been meaningful and they've been making sense, because I have now Jupiter in the 12th house. So when it comes to you, you'd also have more meaningful internal inner experiences. Your imagination becomes more powerful, your subconscious. You might even remember past lifetimes or memories you've forgotten. And that's a releasing, healing process. It can also give you the green light to foreign travel, 12 house rules, faraway countries, foreign relocation. It can give you the green light for deep studies and research about spiritual work. Meditation becomes easier. I started doing hypnosis, self-hypnosis with Jupiter in the 12th house now. For me, it's crazy, but it's really worked. I've been a lifelong nicotine user, and I just listened to for a month to self-hypnosis, like online, and that's it. I don't need any more lozenges or any nicotine and whatever. So it's incredible how on the mental health when Jupiter enters the 12th house, and on how easy it is to leave behind attachments. The invisible worlds help you, and how easy it is to receive messages from God, from your guardian angels, or from your departed loved ones, whatever it is. It's like you become more psychic and more intuitive. So it's internal processes, but they are very powerful because the 12th house is the house of evolution of the soul. So yes, it's more internal, but I know you're earth sign, you want practical stuff, and I can give you some practical stuff. From the second part of the year, maybe go travel to a foreign country. Go to visit a faraway place you've never been to before. Maybe sleep more, this is better. Maybe do some spiritual studies and meditation. Meditation will be much easier for you to do than normal. Maybe do some investment in faraway countries, for example. Maybe do some spiritual studies. We said that. If you're artist, painter, or anything like that, what fantastic time. The inspiration keeps coming, especially if you need to work something in isolation, to paint a painting, to create music. This is when it flows. And from next year, 2027, you're starting a brand new beginning. So take the time to rest the second part of 2026, the first part of 2027, because after that, you're in for a treat. But your psyche needs to rest first. But Uranus is moving into your 10th house. So especially the first 5 degrees of Virgo, 5-6 degrees, they'll have a change, the change of their life. They can change careers. They can suddenly shift direction. There can be some very fast happening changes, but only the first 5 degrees of Virgo, first 5-6 degrees. For them, things are not that, because 12th, 8th house, this is internal work. This is emotional houses. But if you're only the first 5-6 degrees of Virgo, wow, your life changes internally and externally very quickly. But I speak much more in depth how Uranus will make the big change for you, how Jupiter in the 12th, Saturn in the 8th, with way more examples and practical stories, and how you can use it to the highest advantage for you in my 2-hour video for Virgo for 2026. And I speak about the eclipses. The eclipses starts happening in different places for you, and how Uranus, how Neptune will affect you, how Saturn will affect you way more in depth. So check it out if you like my style of astrology. Thank you. Libra, Sun, Moon, Rising 2026. Libra, the first 6 months of the year, both Saturn and Jupiter will be on angle from you. You see, this is you, and the signs that are on a cross from you, the houses, the areas of life that are the most active, the most happening. And when we have both Saturn and Jupiter at the same time on angle from you, this is when very pivotal, critical, and life important, life defining events happen. When you take some really decisions that determine your life ahead, because these are cardinal houses. Cardinal houses is about action, about moving forward, about taking it's initiative, it's starting something new, it's taking a new direction, it's moving forward and ahead. So you see, there's a lot of action there. And Saturn enters together with Neptune, your 7th house, from February, and will stay there till 2028 for 2 years full, basically. But especially the first 15 degrees of Libra will feel Saturn this year with its second most powerful aspect, the opposition. And so if you're born from 0 to 15 degrees, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, or basically if you're the September born, Libras and the first 5 days of October, born Libras, you would feel Saturn the most. But other Libras already also are having Saturn in their seventh house, but they'll feel it more intensely 2027, the second part of Libra, from 15 to 30 degrees. So what does it mean to have Saturn in the seventh house? Once every 30 years it's there. Saturn, its ultimate goal is order, organization. Put in order your relationships. This is what Saturn is. Some important decisions might have to be taken. For example, choosing between two partners, or choosing if this is the partner you want to stay with. Pivotal decisions will be taken for that. Or if you're in existing relationships, it can either go up now and further commitment. Saturn can either tolerate further commitment, taking on some new responsibilities together. For example, my brother and sister-in-law just went through Saturn opposite their sun, both of them, in the past 2 years. So they had to get married and took further, and they bought a property and they got a child together. So you either take the next step in a relationship when Saturn is in your seventh house. You commit further, you get more serious, you take mutual responsibilities together, or if the relationship doesn't seem like it has long-term potential, it will end. Because Saturn only tolerates long-term, anything that is enduring, lasting. Otherwise, the lack, the weaknesses of the relationship, of any relationships in your life, Saturn will really intensify them in your consciousness. So you won't be able to tolerate it. You either end a relationship that is superficial, or that doesn't have commitment, or that is wasteful, relationship that is wasting your time. Saturn hates wastefulness. Saturn is the most efficient planet. So if it's a wasteful relationship or relationship that has no future, dead-end relationship, Saturn ends it. Saturn is the planet of the death with the sky, or Saturn is the planet of further deeper commitment. So relationships and even very close friendships, only those will stay that are useful, that are productive in some way. Relationships that are also Saturn rules the fourth house, the ruler of the fourth house in the seventh house, maybe some commitment together about real estate, about property, about family together in a relationship, or maybe some matters, so having to take care of some property or something domestic will be what is very important for you, like place to live, like, or new parental or extra parental responsibilities. For example, fourth house is parenthood, responsibility as a mother, nurturing, caring. And that's what can put pressure on your relationship and test it if it's enduring. And if you're in a good relationship, the partner will step up, they'll take up more responsibilities than normal. If not, Saturn is about detachment, is about cutting away those people. And there can be some frustration with partners, but personal business partners, colleagues, or kind of maybe, let's say, clients one-on-one, if they're not pulling their weight, if they're not serious enough. So you just concentrate on those relationships that are productive, while you clip away the unproductive ones. So certain people will be leaving your life. Also, you might have more demands towards your partner. Or your partner might have more demands or ultimatums towards you. I mean, if you're the messy one, the disorganized one, if you're the unreliable one, people will appear in your life, or people that are already there, that are close to you. Might be marriage partner, boyfriend, girlfriend, business partner, very close friend, that will start demanding more from you. They might become like a hard taskmaster for you. They're like, do this, or, and yeah, you might get frustrated with them, but they're for good. When I had Saturn opposite my sun, my then partner was like, you're gonna do astrology. And he was pushing me, you're gonna do this, you're gonna learn to do this business. He was giving me tasks every day. You do this, because I was a lazy person. And so someone kind of boot camped me. Another person, seventh house is other people, can be like a boot camp trainer for you. For me, it was about professional realization. And it was harsh. I was resisting. I was angry at him, but I'm so grateful that there was such a hard taskmaster in my life around that time. So, even if others, if you feel that they're too critical, criticizing or pushing you, it's for good. They're trying to bring out this diamond out of the coal and to polish the edges. While also it can play another way. It might be a partner that you're dissatisfied with, where you give them like, I want this from you, or I want that. you know, and you play out the Saturnian part, for example, and that you want them to get their game together or to be more responsible, something like that. And it's good for business relationships. For personal, they can be a bit of heaviness because of responsibility, of duty, some distance in the relationship, that it gets tested. But good enduring relationships will get even stronger and more solid. Well, ones that disappear from your life, that fall apart, believe me, they were not meant to be there anymore. Saturn is this very realistic, down-to-earth planet, and it shows you the truth. And also, seventh house it's good for business negotiations, but you know, with maybe there'll be more serious and older people or more responsible people around you in the next 2 years that will appear. Or if you start a relationship, sometimes Saturn can dry out relationship, but if it starts a relationship for you, it's usually with someone older. There is an age difference, or your partner starts a phase of maturation in their life, or you together take on some challenge or some important task together with a partner where you have to be responsible, that you might be doing a business, building a house, you know, together with another. That requires to mobilize your forces together, or that your partner is going through some difficulty and you're helping them there, or they're going through some very busy period of work or health challenges, sometimes in extreme cases, hopefully not. But so you're through others, you're maturing through others in some way. All right, there's a lot more things because seventh house is also business, clients, but I'm not going to go into that. I wanted to mention the most important energy. Neptune will affect a few Libras, but only the first 5 degrees Libra, from 0 to 5. And that's another totally different story. Saturn asks you to get organized, get responsible with others, clear out who you want in your life and who you don't want. Be very strict, organized. Neptune is the opposite. Neptune makes you kind of the first 5 degrees of Libras only will feel that, but it's Neptune might be about falling in love with someone that you can't have, or someone that is so romantically like you love their soul, and you don't care if they check the boxes for you. It's all about this romantic ideal. So those first 5 degrees might have their head, they might get infatuated even with Neptune. Well, some relationships dissolve, but other kind of more almost fairy-like magical relationships appear, or with someone unavailable or something. There is something a little bit mysterious about the relationship, or ephemeral, or you can't put your finger on it, unclear. But I speak a lot more about that, how Neptune in the 7th house will affect just the early degrees of Libra, in my extended version of this video, if you'd like it, which is 30% off now. Check it out. But now let's speak about Jupiter. Jupiter is on another angle till July for you Libras. Very pivotal decisions you'll be taking, not just about relationships or some important task you're taking on together with a partner, some important work or partner pushing you to reveal your potential through more strict rules and discipline. But also there is the incredible potential, Jupiter once in 12 years in your 10th house, to forward your career, to forward your influence on the world, your impact on the world, your reputation to grow. Jupiter expands. It's exalted in Cancer. It started already from June 2025, continues till July 2026. So rare opportunity to make some pivotal decisions and advancements and growth of career, of business, of your personal responsibilities, and how respected you are. So some of you might get a promotion, some of you might expand their business, some of you might get a better boss, or get help or support from institutions and authority figures of some sort. This is the 10th house, to help them forward certain goals of yours. So if you have something important to do with any kind of person in power, with institutions, reach out to them, because Jupiter is very benevolent in the 10th house. Such people of power and authority will be benevolent towards you. And Jupiter also rules your 6th house of work, in the 10th house of career. And also expanding your, Jupiter can expand your responsibility as well, because 10th house is responsibility, but also your ability to make executive decisions will be more intuitive, more correct. You'll be taking the right decisions to lead your life. Also, something good might be happening, some support from father figure, something good in the relationship with the father as well. And if you are not clear what career you want till now you can get clarity. Or now you can really be, Jupiter gives answers. Jupiter brings light, illuminates knowledge. Or you can have the inspiration and the knowledge what direction to go in regards to your career and worldly. And whatever happens in regards to your career and worldly responsibilities, it's for good now. And then from July, Jupiter moves to your 11th house, and will stay there for a whole year, July 26 till July 27. This is the favorite house of Jupiter. Now, I want to mention something for Libra rising people and Libra people with strong Libra. Overall, Saturn is the planet that gives the most important events for you. Saturn is the planet that can give the biggest successes, the biggest, the most powerful results. Jupiter is not a strong planet for Libras overall. That's why you pay attention where Saturn is. So through relationships in the next 2 years, through collaborations, but very practical relationships, people connecting with people that you can trust, experienced, reliable, and so on. But Jupiter still will have some effect, even though I can never promise Libra two huge things coming from Jupiter. But still, Jupiter in the 11th house is the house of gains and rewards. So they can be rewards. These are even financial rewards. If you've been working hard on some business before that, Jupiter in the 10th house, if you've been expanding or doing some changes or improvements, now you can even means that for a year you can have more income from your business, from your career, more recognition, honors, titles. You can gain some title and honor from the second part of 26 and the first part of 27. For me, for example, and I'm also air sign, so Jupiter is not strong for air sign ascendants, but when Jupiter was in my 11th, was the most financially successful year of my life. It's truly gainful, as they say. And just a second, yeah. So also you can make connections. You can connect with again, when Jupiter enters the 11th house, it's another social house. Just like Saturn is in the 7th house, it's asking you to be discriminative with who you connect in your life, to build long-lasting relationships, only with trusted people. But Jupiter also allows for new people to enter your life. This is not so romantically connected. This is more like business contacts, associates, maybe new colleagues, maybe new clients, new followers. You can, like my following and my client base expanded almost double when Jupiter was in my 11th house. So if you're in any kind of self-business, or you need to connect with clients, you need to make more sales, you need to make better marketing campaigns, you need to use social media to reach wider audience, Jupiter grows that. Jupiter makes it more and more possible. Some of you can just make new friends, that will be long-lasting, because Jupiter is making trine to Saturn. You don't let anyone into your life with Saturn in another social house, but Jupiter makes sure that quality people enter, good ones, that they can be benefactors or people that believe in you, that help you expand your horizons over the next 12 years. Maybe not immediately you meet someone and they kind of change your life. They introduce you to important people. They get you into job advance ahead. But like I did, I met a few new people when Jupiter was in my 11th house, and 2-3 years down the line, I never expected it, but exactly with those people, first of all, we became closer, moral support and everything, but we also started doing some business together, some new ideas for community and so on. So pay attention from the second part of the year, what people come to you. If you get invited to concerts, to retreats, to seminars, where people get together, like-minded people, when they get together in a group to create something, go to such places. It might be parties, or it might be large groups of friends, or it might be festivals or whatever. Go, or conferences, something to connect with others with similar interests, because some really good, maybe lifelong friendships and collaborations and benefactors and gainful relationships can happen there. So open yourself to that. Plus, you can achieve certain goals and dreams of yours that you've been, new goals and dreams, you can come closer to fulfilling them. Jupiter grants wishes in the 11th house because it's about to close the cycle when it comes in 2 years into Libra. And before it closes the cycle, when it's in the 11th house, it gives you its reward. It gives you its rewards. And it's good for, as I said, spreading a message, reaching larger audience, bringing out a project to the public, and bringing out something to be recognized and to receive pat on the back or financial or social and economic recognition through. Or sometimes it can be just like getting a bonus, getting a bit more bigger salary or income from your business, more, spread out influence from that, but also making those networks and connections that will be extremely helpful for you and will help you fulfill some dream of yours. Of course, we have to talk a lot more about Neptune because the first 5 degrees, they have a totally, Saturn organizes overall all other Libras, makes you organize, postpone gratification, makes you build routines. Even there is external pressure to you, 7th house, to do it, but it puts you in order, while Neptune does the opposite. It dissolves our order routines, but that's for a very small part of Libras. But those same small part of Libras also have Uranus, the first 5 degrees of Libra, and Pluto. So it's going to be extremely beneficial. There will be a deconstruction of who you are those first 5 degrees of Libra. Losing yourself, like you dissolving it, but some totally new direction for you, Pluto and Uranus, that aligns perfectly by divine design almost for you. So even if you feel lost at moments, don't worry, but I go way more in detail in my extended version of the 2026 horoscopes, 30% off now for anyone who is interested. I put the link below. Thank you. Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising 2026. Scorpio, Saturn is leaving your 5th house from February, Neptune as well, and it's moving permanently, at least for the next 2 years, the whole 26, 27, and part of 28, into your 6th house. Actually, this is good because Saturn doesn't jive so well with the 5th house. It's a little bit dry, like as if the joy of life might have been sucked out a little bit. But Saturn asks you to put order in your love life, in your creative endeavors, to structure your creativity as well. But it takes out that spark that makes you shine like a bright star, which is the 5th house, to be center stage. And it's also the heart center, the 5th house, and Saturn puts some pressure there. When it leaves this 5th house, you'd feel like lightening up. You see, Saturn will no longer aspect you directly, and there'll be lightening up of the heart chakra. Creativity will flow more naturally. Hopefully, if you put good structures, this creativity will start giving results in a productive way now. If there was problems in your love life, they will disappear as well, because 5th house is the love life romantically, and Saturn also puts there some tests for us to learn. So this kind of difficulties, or just having fun and enjoying yourself, will become more easily accessible. You'd be now having fun in a more mature way as well. But Saturn moves to a house that it really likes for you for the next 2 years, and that is the 6th house, because 6th house is all about order, organization, and Saturn will give you the self-discipline to do the right things for your body and for your health, and the right routines. 6th house is daily routines, and if you watch anything on social media, they do all those videos where they say every successful person, millionaire, whatever, they have a routine. They have a routine that they follow no matter what is happening. And they say that the difference between mediocre and genius is not talent, but it's consistency and discipline. So Saturn through the 6th house, it's much easier to access this discipline, especially in your daily routines. You can do a healthier daily routine, starting with a probiotic or starting with some exercise in the morning with hot water, whatever it is. You create your own routines that you, and Saturn will help you not just do it repeatedly, but make it part of your life that you'd forever follow after that. My husband just went through Saturn in the 6th house. I have observed him for the last couple of years, and he really he learned to go to the same time to bed, wake up at the same time. Every morning he wakes up, he has 1 hour to 2 hours routines that he does, whether it's exercise, certain smoothies, certain supplements. And so the changes that you can do for your health with Saturn in the sixth house are like no other time in your life. You notice that you feel like you have like this rare window of opportunity where you can really organize yourself, where you can really become disciplined with your health, with your daily routines. You can remove a lot of unnecessary distractions of your daily routines. Sixth house is what's everyday things that you do. But many times we waste time on distractions, on superficial things, on frivolities, on watching TV even. Saturn eliminates that. Saturn only wants the productive things, and you'd kind of feel like you're wasting time if you're spending time on just some superficial thing. You only want the things that give results. So that's why Saturn in the sixth house really go well together. Every time I've seen someone make a lifelong health change and remove an unhealthy habit and introduce a healthy substitute on a healthy one, it's when Saturn has been in the sixth house, especially from the ascendant, maybe from the sun and the moon as well. But I always check my clients mostly from the ascendant sign, but it should work from moon and ascendant to a lesser degree, but still. So, but at the same time, it can make you very extra focus on mundane material things. But that's what Saturn asks from you. Put order in your life, organize it, put order, like you'd start cleaning more, you'd start organizing more, even your clothes. It was funny, my husband still has Saturn in the sixth house, and I was doing something, and what are you doing? I'm organizing the he was organized just a minute ago. I'm organizing the cupboards. I'm like, wow, he's not someone who is into organization and things like that, but Saturn in the sixth house now has taught him that. And if you're naturally quite organized with such matters, daily activities, if you're very productive and efficient, it will be a very easy transit for you that will feel like things are on time, your schedules, everything. So it's good now. Saturn is helping you put in order your daily, mundane, practical side of life. Sixth house is job and work. You can become a bit of workaholic with Saturn there, or you can have extra responsibilities and duties. And of course, if you do your schedule properly, that won't be a problem, but you might need to rearrange and restructure your schedules, restructure your the first year of Saturn in the second house to be more efficient overall. Because if there are more chores and responsibilities and duties, especially of a material nature, kind of at work or at home, or the Saturn just asks you to prioritize your errands that are most important. Also, maybe to restructure your job. If you're not at the right job, Saturn can create redundancy. You might be fired, or you might become super dissatisfied in the environment that you work. Maybe it can become toxic or very competitive or very critical. It's a sign for you that something needs to change there. If you're in the right work, if you're doing the right service, your responsibilities can increase as work, possibly even certain more authority, responsibility there with tasks, with employees as well. And certain problems to overcome with employees, because sixth house is that. But if it's the right career, maybe you just need to do some restructuring there to be more efficient in your processes of how you're doing the work and so on. But usually it tends to, the only time you would have problem with your work if you're not in the right one. And then it's a process of getting yourself disciplined, better CVs, better applying and trying over and over and over, because with Saturn, success comes after repeated efforts. But you have a rare chance to really organize your work environment, your health environment, your routines. Boring, but this is the foundation for success. This is one of the houses of material success. That's what Saturn is asking you to do. Because after that, only Neptune remains, and that's after 2027. Only Neptune remains in your sixth house, so you better build those good foundations with your health, with how you eat, with your exercise, with your daily routines, because after that Neptune is, so you can just glide along with those already built foundations. Otherwise, Neptune dissolves all discipline and structure. And that is messy, especially in a very material world that we live in. That can become difficult. So now do the hard work of Saturn. So after that, you can relax and take it easy when it comes to work duty and responsibilities. At the same time, Jupiter, from the June 2025 till July 2026, so the first 6 months, Jupiter is trining you. Now, having a trine from Jupiter and Saturn stopping to aspect you, Jupiter trining you, it's really helping your health overall. If it's your ascendant, sun, or moon in Scorpio, Jupiter trine there, make sure it gives you vitality, strength, life force as well. Jupiter in the ninth house makes you lucky till July. So there'll be lucky opportunities that appear in front of you. They might be educational, they might be connected to travel, they might be connected to, what does Jupiter rule for you? It's in the ninth house of luck and opportunities, but it also rules your second house, so there can be financial opportunities, maybe to study something, ninth house, to learn higher knowledge, pre-qualify, expand your abilities, your consciousness, which can help you also financially in some way, because Jupiter rules the second house. Jupiter also rules your fifth house of romance, and now Saturn leaves from February your fifth house. Only Jupiter is making an aspect to your fifth house of love and romance. So definite improvement. First, that difficult planet leaves there. So if there were blockages, heartbreaks, it starts healing, and then only the positive planet is affecting this fifth house of romance, of falling in love, of feeling joy from life. And Jupiter in the ninth house overall, trining your sun, moon, or rising, opportunities, growth. You'd grow, you'd start believing in yourself. It's about trusting yourself, believing in yourself, feeling you're bigger and seeing your bigger potential. That's why people start studying then, because they want to realize their bigger potential. They start studying, learning, or teaching others. They might have a life coach, or 8-9 houses teachers, life coach, inspirational figure, someone that motivates you, someone that brings belief into your life. Maybe some studies or some spiritual teaching or some motivational teachings like Napoleon Hill or like Joe Dispenza, or that make you become aware that you're bigger. Ninth house is the higher version of yourself, that you're to see yourself as a version 2.0 of a Scorpio. Ninth house is the house of self-improvement, self-growth. So is sixth house, but not on the material life. Like organize, so you're clean, so you're organized, so you're not messy. So you have a plan every day, so you're scheduled. This is a recipe for success. Wow, Jupiter in the ninth house, you start seeing that you're capable of more. You start believing in yourself more. You start believing that the universe has your back, that the universe is benevolent, that it's not some, that it's karmic watching you to misstep and to slap you, that there is benevolent forces taking care of you. The ninth house is the house of gods, your guardian angel as well, your higher self. Some call it your higher self, some the guardian angel. So communications through God, prophetic visions as well. Feeling the future, knowing what the future is. When Jupiter is in the ninth house, it's much easier to know. You'd be certain, you'd know that this is the right thing for me, or this is wrong, or this is morally right. This will take me to the right, even if there is a dilemma, this path or that path, which one should I take? Trust either in some guide or your higher self, or in a moment of prayer. You'll be given very clear signs. The ninth house is where God talks to us through signs, through our intuition, through other people that appear as guardians, as casual mention of something. You're like, Eureka, I'm having the answer to a long-standing question. So you would be receiving signs and symbols and omens from above, especially if you're of a more spiritual nature. You'd be much more easier for you to connect to this higher self, this higher potential, the higher version of yourself, and to be more moral, to keep the moral truths, because there's certain laws, ninth house is laws, certain human and spiritual laws. If you're aligned to them, which is what Jupiter helps us to see the truth, the truth, and to align with it, you get rewards. That's why it's considered the highest, the most luckiest house, and you become a better version of yourself. So definitely. Also great if you want to travel. Jupiter will bring opportunities to live in a foreign country, to get citizenship there, or if you want to study to get accepted to the best places till July. If you want to teach, if you want to find a mentor, fantastic as well, to improve relationship with father figure, any legal matters, to have positive conclusion and solutions of any legal matters in a positive way, the ninth house. All right, and then Jupiter moves to your 10th house from July and will stay there for 1 year till 2027 July. Wonderful, the highest point of the horoscope. And Jupiter is a very beneficial planet for Scorpios. Like I was talking the previous signs, for example, for Libra, Jupiter doesn't do much as it can do for Scorpio, because Jupiter is a good planet for Scorpio because it rules 5th house of good karma for them. And so it goes into the 10th house. So now it's going to start helping Saturn. So from the second part of the year, Saturn is in a house that's trying to help you fix, put order, and organize your material life. And Jupiter joins in another material house of success, of ambition, of achieving the highest goals. So even if you're someone who doesn't know what career they want, what is the right path, what is their mission here on earth, Jupiter can give you clarity. Suddenly you can find a job or career path that feels meaningful, inspirational to you. These are words about Jupiter: inspiration, purpose, excitement, feeling that you're aligned to your higher calling, or you can get the right advice what to do with your career, or intuitively know what is the next step with your career. You can also be freed, because Jupiter is sattvic, liberating planet. Be freed from certain unhappy responsibilities, career-wise. But if one job disappears or career path, a new one, way more aligned, will appear because of Jupiter in your 10th house, Saturn in the 6th as well. Saturn can eliminate the ones that are not correct professionally, and Jupiter will help you that you find much better ones. Also, better bosses can appear, better authority figures. If you need to do something important that requires the approval of a boss, of a father figure, of authority figure, some kind of person in a high standing position, do it when Jupiter is in your 10th house, because you'll get benefic results from people in authority from you. Also, you can expand your business during that time, Jupiter in the 10th house. You can grow your influence on others. You can get a promotion, for example. Of course, it can expand your responsibilities, a bit like Saturn in the 6th house. But you see, those two planets are trying to align for you to get your career in order, to get your material side of life. Jupiter will be trying in your 2nd house of money as well. So you're putting some structure or some foundations, and because Saturn is the hard work, the structure, while Jupiter is the inspiration, the vision, the belief in yourself, the opportunities that will come professionally or in your material circumstances, so that for many years after that you have stable material foundation, financially, career-wise, and so on. So work on those things, whether it's behind the scenes, Saturn in the 6th house on some project, or whether it's in the public, but somehow you'd put in order over 2025, 2026, and 2027, especially that material, practical side, maybe even reach recognition, higher positions of authority, and so on. Of course, Pluto will be affecting very strongly those first 6 degrees of Scorpio, only from 2 till 6 degrees. That's a totally different story. Pluto is about, but you as a Scorpio, you kind of will handle Plutonic transits. But I speak way more in depth how Pluto will affect you, how Uranus in the 8th house moving there will affect you, how Neptune in the 8th house, how there will be Venus retrograde in Scorpio in October. So this is a huge one. Venus retrograding is very beneficial, by the way, for Scorpios. But some big decisions about relationships in October, November, Scorpios will take, and Venus, because Venus rules your 7th house, is the planet of love, also about your appearance, something can change. But usually by the time Venus finishes with you, you're more balanced, more attractive, more harmonious overall. But I go way more in depth with the extended predictions. For now, I hope you got the summary of Jupiter and Saturn, where it's the two pivotal places to focus on. So thank you so much, and check out the extended version of the 2026 horoscope if you like my style of astrology, of course, and my messy hair, if it doesn't bother you. Thank you. Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising 2026. Sagittarius, I have good news for you. As a fire sign, I'm also a very strong fire sign. The last year, 2025, was very watery. We had Jupiter in water, Saturn in water for the last 2-3 years almost. The North Node in water, so the big players were all in water. And you know what? Water kind of kills the passion and the fire of the fire signs. It's like a wet blanket energy for us, because the Jupiter and Saturn, they were in psychological, emotional houses for the fire signs. So it's kind of emotionally heavier. Fire wants to look to the future. Fire wants to be inspired, to move, to be excited, to move ahead. Water is like pulling us back to the past, to reassessing our feelings, overcoming certain traumas, working. It's kind of more subconscious processes happening, more emotional processes, and this water really kind of killed our spark for a little bit. But gradually, little by little, first Saturn in February and the North and Neptune move into another firehouse to help us from there. And then from July, Jupiter moves to fire sign, and the nodes also move to fire and air signs. But let's start with Saturn. Saturn moves, will no longer square you. That's a hard one. For the last 2-3 years, Saturn was squaring you. And not only from water sign, but also Saturn is heavy energy. And the usual optimistic side of Sagittarius maybe was lacking at some point over the last 2-3 years. Maybe it was like drowned, because Saturn is like, get grounded, get serious, responsibilities and duty with home, with family, emotionally heavy feelings in the fourth house of feelings. But Saturn is moving to make a trine. It's still gonna aspect you, Sagittarius, but with a trine, no longer with a square. The square is one of the most challenging aspects. It's like something tripping you and testing you, while the trine is okay. There still be responsibilities and serious things to do, but this time there is a meaning and purpose, and that you flow with that. It's much more easy. It's not a test. So anything that you start in 2027, 26 and 27, because Saturn is trining those both years, Sagittarius, will be long lasting. If it's your Sun in Sagittarius, especially the first 15 degrees, 0 till 15, Saturn trines you in 2026. From 15 till 30 degrees, Saturn trines you with the supportive aspect in 2027. So whatever you start, if it's your Sun, for example, in Sagittarius, career-wise will be long-lasting, will stabilize your career, will bring stable growth, not fast, but stable, consistent, and long-lasting, and to achieve your goals and the kingdom and the vision for your life that you have, and stabilize relationships with male as well figures in your life. Also can strengthen your discipline. Also, if it's your moon in Sagittarius, it stabilizes your personal life, family, emotional relationships, attachments, something good with home, with property, with real estate. Yes, it can bring more responsibilities through children, because Saturn in the fifth house rules children, can bring more responsibilities and not so much fun, because fifth house is the house where we have fun, enjoy ourselves, where we play like children. And Saturn there says you have to mature. You can't be having fun the same ways anymore. It's time for you, for your inner child, to work a bit with your inner child and to mature it. Maybe going out and partying till 5 in the morning is no longer, you start outgrowing it when Saturn is in the fifth house. You start finding more mature ways to have leisure time to, and fifth house is not like, oh, sleeping and stuff like that. It's kind of co-creative. It's ability where you're a creator, where you're creating something. So it might be good, like learning an instrument, starting some sport. Fifth house is sports as well. Some sport that you become more serious about, or discovering some talent or already existing talent that you have. that you turn into something professional. Saturn is about career, about serious things, maybe putting organization in your creative processes. Maybe till now you're just messing around with something you're very passionate about, maybe writing, or maybe tennis, or maybe pottery making, or whatever is your passion, maybe creating AI stuff. Everyone has a different passion that they like to do in their free time, that they're very excited about. And Saturn enters your fifth house, and now you get serious about it. Now you don't want it just for fun. Now it feels like a wasting of time just to do it for fun. Now you want to do something professional with it, something serious, maybe even to, because Saturn rules your second house, to monetize your talents, your creative, your second house is money, finances, stability. Fifth house is the ruler going into the fifth house. Rule of the second going to the fifth house creates temporary wealth yoga, usually through your own original ideas, through your natural talents of self-expression. Maybe you get serious about dancing and, try and be more, dedicate more time to it, or some sport as well. That it's not going to be just about having fun with those things. It's about getting serious with those things that you used to have fun till now. It can take some of the enjoyment out of it, of course, but Saturn wants here to mature those talents. Secondly, fifth house is romance, romantic life. When Saturn transits it there, it only accepts committed. You can't just be, we know that Sagittarius likes a little bit, has this butterfly tendency. If you have strong Sagittarius, of course, there are exceptions. But Saturn now says grow up and become mature and responsible with your romantic partners. You're not just gonna want some kind of frivolous romantic one-night stands or relationships, only if it feels that there is commitment there and that there is, possibility for something long-term and serious. Such relationship will stay. I remember when Saturn transited my fifth house. Saturn is age difference, someone older, mature. I suddenly started dating someone 24 years older than me. I was like, whoa, okay. For those 2 years was, yeah. And when Saturn left there, I was like, what was I thinking? But I learned so much. So maybe romantically would be drawn with someone with age difference, maybe younger, 7 or more years, older, 7 or more years, where you have to take care of them as a parent. I'm kidding. Or just more serious, maybe you might be attracted to kind of more Capricornian type of people, more responsible, more suited up. Or maybe kind of Saturn wants you to put order to, when it comes to your love life, to be to discriminate better, not to let anyone. And there might be some little crisis of your love life, your romantic life, maybe because of responsibilities, financial, with children. I don't know where it's gonna come from, or some work responsibilities, that the romance is kind of dried a little bit. So you need to, with Saturn there, romance doesn't come spontaneously, and we have to learn that sometimes, yeah, you might feel like, oh, this relationship, the excitement is fizzling out. But if it's a worthy relationship, it will stay. But Saturn wants to teach you to plan and schedule your romantic times, because even romantic time, initially it's spontaneous, it comes spontaneously, but if you've been with someone for a longer time, everyone knows that it takes work as well. So Saturn here says you need to schedule even your romantic and fun times. Sorry, that's gross, but I have to do those videos. I want them to be out for you. Sorry that I'm a bit sick. Yuck. Duty first. Now, so Saturn here will say to you that, yeah, let's schedule romantic times, or let's get serious. And do you really love me? Do I love you? What do I want from a romantic relationship? Put some boundaries. There is this song of Dua Lipa, I've got new rules, I count them. That's very much Saturn in the fifth house, if he calls in the middle of the night or whatever. For the younger people, even for the older. Even older, more experienced people can get kind of duped and misled. And so Saturn teaches you, now you put rules. But also Saturn can help you find a long-term relationship. I've seen it multiple times when Saturn is in the fifth house. First, there's some test romantically. One sees what they don't like romantically. Maybe they might break up with someone who is not appropriate. And then the right person that's commitment, long-term, or even someone from the past, because Saturn is about to repeat, or someone you've known from before sometimes can appear. So yeah, Also taking responsibility through children and so on, that we talked about. And Saturn overall is helping you create the kingdom that you want by trine. It's in the 8th house of the or if you're an artist or creator, content creator is the 5th house. Content creator, you have to write, you need to make videos, you need to perform in public, then Saturn makes you get very serious about this stuff. It makes you, instead of just like waiting for motivation or whatever, now you sit and you write 10 pages every day. It's not about inspiration, it's about consistency. And it's not about motivation, it's about discipline. Discipline will take you much further when Saturn in the 5th house, if you want to create something unique, because 5th house is our creations, whether it's children, so you might have to be stricter with your children to set more rules over the next 2 years, and it might feel hard, but it's for good. And it's also our other creations, whether you're creating a business, whether you're creating a name for yourself, the kingdom that you want, something that it's your own, then Saturn will make you be disciplined about that. Then Jupiter, let's see where Jupiter is. The first 6 months of the year, Jupiter is in your 8th house. Now Jupiter rules you, wherever it goes, there is a strong focus there. And the 8th house is transformations. So yeah, the first 6 months, and it already started from June 2025, continues till July 2026. There might be sudden reversals in your life. Yes, it is true. And they might feel like, whoa, the tower is falling, everything is upside down. But because Jupiter triggers them, they're very much needed, and they're for your good. Truly, there is great pot buried at the end of that, or there is very powerful silver lining, or even diamond lining, I'd call it. So like sometimes 8th house, it can be the death of one part of your life and the rebirth of another. Even sometimes literal, someone passing away and you're receiving inheritance. 8th house is inheritance. Or it can mean that some aspect of your personality is really transforming, like a psychological, and it happens fast and quick. Jupiter, it gives the transformation easily. So you suddenly are released from an obsession, you're suddenly freed from a burden, you're suddenly psychological, alchemical transformation that happens very fast. You're suddenly free of a trauma. You're suddenly free of anxiety. Some people have anxiety because they're trapped in a fight or flight response. Maybe someone hurt them as a child and they don't remember, but they're constantly anxious all their life and they feel like tense. And Jupiter in the 8th house, miraculous healing, spontaneous healing through spontaneous release of built up emotions, of the nervous system being released, spinning of the chakras. 8th house rules all the chakras. And Jupiter helps the chakras spin and remove a lot of toxins and a lot of stuck energy psychologically, emotionally, traumatically from the different chakras of the body. And the spinning creates like a spontaneous healings and spontaneous release of trauma and transformations, very quick transformations. And for me, it was like a rebirth, and night and day. Like it happened so quickly. And it's also about romantic connections in the 8th house, very strong, deep intimacy. That can be the trigger for healing, sexual healing. A strong intimacy, that 8th house is one of the houses of soulmates, secret, intense relationships that can appear, that is very powerful, that is transformational, that is intense. Jupiter can restart your intimacy. So you see Saturn in the 5th house of romance, okay, more serious. You don't want superficial things. You're not gonna let just random, you're not gonna be a train station. But Jupiter in the 8th house allows you to open yourself intimately towards a person that you trust and that you vetted, because Saturn is not gonna allow just anyone, to bond with them on a very, very deep level. Jupiter in the 8th house. And remove certain sexual blockages, for example, or certain fears that you had all your life, transform them, not just sexual, but kind of fears. Also, 8th house can indicate money coming to you through others, your partner starting to make more money, getting an inheritance, getting more money from taxes. If you want to make your taxes in a smart way, wow, Jupiter is in your 8th house. You can find a really good accountant, or you can learn a lot about taxes. Like my husband learned how to do our taxes when Jupiter transited his 8th house. and we do it much better than any accountant, because Jupiter is knowledge. Or you can learn knowledge about astrology, psychology, the hidden part of your psyche. You can have very successful uh, sessions with hypnotists, with eight houses counselors, psychologists, people that try and rework your subconscious, trying to release trauma from you. So working with a psychologist, or even naturally it can happen without you reading a book or something, or expanding your knowledge. Then there is this transformation, deep psychological transformation within, and you leave a heavy burden behind. Also, you can increase your income when Jupiter is in the eighth house, especially income that depends on others. Like my income grew 3 times because I joined my forces with my husband. Then I fell in love with Jupiter in the eighth house. I married my husband. Then I got pregnant, eighth houses, pregnancies as well. Who knows? Very quick transformations, and the income can increase it. So maybe you can receive from the government some help. You can receive a loan or a mortgage you've wanted for a long time. You can receive someone investing you in your ideas. You can get a business partner or more money from your clients. Or maybe like I collaborate with others. When Jupiter transit my eighth house, I started making a lot more money through the work of others than my own. So these are the ways Jupiter in the eighth house can work. But still there is some big shaky transformations, because it's eighth house of deaths and rebirths. And then Jupiter from July moves into your ninth house, which is very lucky. You're gonna start feeling so much better from July when Jupiter is there, and the North Node moves from Pisces to your third house. The South Node in July moves into your ninth house, so everything activates fire and air. So there is like so much support for Sagittarius from the second part of the year. Leo, the moment Jupiter moves into Leo, it will trine Sagittarius for a year, improves your health, improves your stamina, you become more optimistic. Jupiter in the ninth house. It's like you become Sagittarius squared, double of Sagittarius. Ninth house, the house of Sagittarius. Jupiter is the planet of Sagittarius. So you finally enter into your energy. I told you we've had a lot of water planets, Saturn in the 4th, Jupiter in the 8th. These are not energies that we very much like. They hold us back. The water, the psychic houses, the psychological houses, it's inner work. It's very necessary. But we want progress, future, and the ninth house is the house of future. When Jupiter enters there, you start looking optimistic about the future. New opportunities will start coming to you, opportunities to travel. Fantastic time from the middle of 2026 for a year ahead to start traveling, to start studying, to get accepted to best universities, I started studying astrology when Jupiter transited my ninth house. I discovered it, and it brought new meaning into my life. So something will happen when Jupiter enters your ninth house for a year, where you will rediscover purpose and meaning in your life. It can push you on a direction to study, to pre-qualify, to expand your consciousness by traveling, by meeting people from very different backgrounds as well. And it will be very soul affirming, expanding. You'd have a stronger connection to your higher self. Intuitively, you'll be seeing the future. You'll know what is the next step to take. You'd be taken out from the forest inside, and you'd be like on top of the mountain. You'll see each direction, and you'll have a choice. So great expansion, great support for career, for health, for relationships comes when Jupiter enters Leo. So this is my great news for you. Have patience till the second part of the year, and then for a year, so much good stuff. Opportunities for growth, good luck. The ninth house, Jupiter is the lucky planet for growth, for improvement, for expanding yourself and what is possible in your life. And Uranus enters your seventh house. That's another story, makes things more exciting. While Saturn demands that you have more committed relationship, just for the first 5 degrees of Sagittarius, they might have a totally different experience. They might be in relationships with totally wild and different people and partners that they've never been before with, and break out of a stagnation in relationships. But that's a small group of Sagittarius, very small, just the first 4 or 5 degrees. But I speak a lot more about Jupiter, how it's going to affect Sagittarius, Saturn, Uranus, Pluto, all those planets. Neptune's helping you 2025. Saturn's helping you by trine. Jupiter's helping you by trine. Pluto is helping you by sextile. Wow. It's a lot of support, guys. Get excited. This is a year, the more the year progresses, the more it becomes our year, the year of the fire signs. And of course, if you want to hear much more, check out the long version of this. It's 2.5 hour video for Sagittarius, and for if you want 3 signs, your sun, moon, or ascendant, you can get them just for the price of 2 videos. It's on my website. I'm putting a link below if you're interested. Sun, moon, or rising 2026. Capricorn, very pivotal year. Why is that? Because this is you here, and this is the big players, Saturn and Jupiter. They're on angles from you. See, when we make a cross, these are the pillars of the horoscope. When Jupiter and Saturn both activate your pillars of the horoscope, the backbone of the horoscope, the house is about action and changes. It's a year of big changes and changes of direction. And I always compare it to the cart is moving. The cart starts moving. It's not stagnant when planets Saturn and Jupiter are on angles. But because they're on square angles, it's bumpy, but you're moving. The wheels are square, but you're moving. The wheel of fortune swings now. You know, there are periods where we're stuck and things don't happen much, nothing changes. Well, that's not such a year, because both Saturn squaring you, Jupiter on an angle for you, so big important decisions will be taken. Let's start with Saturn. Saturn is moving from your 3rd house and Neptune together into your 4th house, and will stay there for 2 years, from February 2026 till sometime in 2028. So 2 years and a bit more. Saturn there will square Capricorns, and especially in 2026, the first 15 degrees of Capricorn. So if you're from 0 till 15 Capricorn, you're basically the December born Capricorns and the first 5 days of January born Capricorns. Or if it's your moon or ascendant, the first 15 degrees, you'd feel Saturn's transit very strongly this year. What is everything that I'm talking about? There is a bit of a challenge. It's like a growing, because it's an opening square, so it's like growing pains. It's not about ending things, completing things. That's more with the closing square of Saturn. This is a growing square because 7 years ago, Saturn started from your sign, a new cycle, and it's the first square. So now it's like growing pains. You know, like some teenagers, if they grow too quick and their body starts hurting, like the bones and so on. So now this is this phase, and you need to kind of slow down a little bit. Don't hurry up to grow up so quickly. You're still in a growing phase of Saturn for the next 7 years after that. But yeah, you need kind of slow down a little bit, rest a bit more. It's necessary. So those growing pains, correct the path, the course, support yourself, your bone system as well, because we know for Capricorns the bone system is very important. Saturn squaring your sun, moon, or ascendant, bones, teeth, all such things, take care of those things. But Saturn in the 4th house, Saturn wants to put order and discipline. So in the 4th house, it's the affairs of your home. So that can mean, build that fence that broke, finish it, or maybe do a building in your home, or do redesign of your home, or some structural changes to your home. Maybe it's old and you need to do some repairs. This is Saturn in the 4th house. Great activities for it. It taking on more responsibilities and order, or maybe putting your real estate in order in some way, kind of arranging documents and matters about that, and inheritance. Or maybe this is putting order in your personal life and home. Maybe new rules at home, more strict rules for the kids, for you, for your flatmates, whoever you live with. And yeah, that can indicate that there's some tension between you and family members, parents, your children, flatmates, certain things to arrange about property, real estate that require effort. But after this, you'd feel this quiet satisfaction. Okay, I get this done. I took care of my land and my property. I set the new rules. Yeah, I confronted, but now there is much more order. The home can be, some people just start cleaning more the home, organizing it, building something. Yes, sometimes there are delays with Saturn in the fourth house for any kind of relocations, moving, real estate. With Saturn, it just needs repeated effort. Saturn doesn't deny, it delays. It just delays and asks repeated effort, make it better, be more organized in that direction, which is qualities that Capricorn naturally has. So you apply it now in your personal life, your relationships with your parents, your relationship with your extended family. Put some boundaries there, but Neptune is also there. So have love for them, forgive them, but also have some rules as well. We can do both. We don't have to be assholes and cut them off and never talk to them, but kind of, here are my boundaries, but I love you, Neptune, I love you unconditionally. I forgive you, but these are my rules here, even with your children and any other very close people in your life. Also, there might be the need to take care of elderly parents. So just, my husband became a father when Saturn transited his fourth house. So it was about taking on responsibilities, maturing as a parent. Fourth house is parenthood, nurturing, taking care of your home, taking seriously such responsibilities. And if you have to take care of elderly parents, again, you have to fulfill that duty as better as you can. Or sometimes Saturn in the fourth house, as I said, it's just more responsibilities at home, and having to prioritize what you really have to do. Or if you work in any sphere of real estate, hospitality, nursing, taking care of little children, that can mean very busy period at work, as Saturn is work. Fourth house rules those things, hotels, Airbnbs, that you're doing some work connected with that, or real estate. All right, this is Saturn in the fourth house. It can feel a bit heavy emotionally. It can feel like diving into the past and, digging out old skeletons and finding out some things and kind of reconciling and detaching from the childhood traumas, working on that inner wounded child for a couple of years. It's not a easy energy, but it's very necessary to put some order and some structured approach to your inner wounding, to your childhood wounding, or also to pay attention to recurring patterns, family ancestral patterns. Say everyone gets divorced in your family, or everyone has diabetes, or everyone, like some repeated patterns, and you think, okay, this the same is going to happen in my lifetime. And now Saturn slows down so you can see this pattern and you can recognize it. And what is the other quality of Saturn? To disconnect, to realize it consciously and to say, enough, I put a stop. I'm not going to repeat this pattern. I'm not going to act unconsciously. I'm not going to, and you become conscious over those 2 years of Saturn in the fourth house about such behaviors, and you put a stop to it, and you stop this karmic cycle. So you kind of like almost ending some family karma that your ancestors will also be grateful for, even though they're departed, so it doesn't go and get passed down the line. So it is hard work, but that's what my husband also went through. He just had children for the first time, responsibilities. His mom came to live with us, fourth house, and he found out a lot of things about his past childhood that he didn't know, about the relationship of his mom and so on. And because they had divorce, and he said, okay, I'm never gonna do this thing again. And she says, oh no, your grandmother divorced, I divorced, everyone, we all divorced. He says, no, it's not gonna be the case. And to break that rule. Anyway, then we have Jupiter now. The other big event is, you see, fourth house is the foundation. You're building a new foundation in your life, so your life can stand on a, stable foundation. And from then on, Saturn starts growing up towards the top. For the last 14 years, Saturn has been going down. And Saturn likes to be on top. That's his natural house, which it will be in 14 years from now. Some peak you'd reach, very likely again. But now you're building the foundations of it. So, as I said, relocation, changing a place of living, some big changes with the family, some important decisions of where you live and your family, building that psychological, emotional, and material foundation in your life. And then you start climbing up the ladder again, which Capricorn is very good at. But Jupiter, what does Jupiter do? It's in your seventh house. It started there from June 25 and will continue till July 26. Very rare, once in 12-year opportunity, maybe even to meet a life partner, to get married. beneficial. Jupiter is very beneficial in Cancer. It's exalted there. So if a partner appears in your life, they have very good quality. They are, exalted planet is good quality. Someone who would expand your life, someone who is beneficial, someone who is, I would say, like the right partner. There might be even a past life connection. Jupiter rules the 12th house, or foreign connection, someone that is different culture, foreign, and so on. Jupiter can free you as well from an unhappy relationship, but it will happen very naturally. It will happen without the battle, without the struggle. Once the decision is taken, things will, you know, kind of peaceful, friendly separation, and you'll feel like, oh, finally, I'm freed. But Jupiter also can bring a partner. Even if you separate with someone, Jupiter will bring someone or new people that will take their place, or new business partners, or new clients, or new uh, uh, audience. Seventh house is the audience, is the clients, more sales if you're in business. Oh, yeah, very good for marketing, for connecting with others, building bridges. So use that till July, build bridges. Maybe something good can happen in the life of your partner if you have one. Maybe they get a promotion, or they get healed from something, or they get into a much better mood, or your relationship strengthens. If you've been having some problems in your relationship, Jupiter in the seventh house says it will be resolved for the best, and it will be, without you stressing, things will align themselves properly. So yeah, this is either getting married, or meeting someone, or even being freed from someone, or some contract or agreement that feels very burdensome for you. You'll be liberated, because that's the other energy of Jupiter, to free you. And the people that enter your life now, they can be a source of growth, source of showing you new opportunities, support. You can receive support from others one-on-one, whether it's a counselor, whether it's a close friend, whether it's your partner. If you need some moral, psychological, or even financial support, it can come to you from others. And then Jupiter goes into the 8th house from July. Now, more specifically, your partner's finances can increase. You can double up your wealth together with a partner. That's what happened for me when Jupiter was in the 8th house. Somehow the karma of our mutual finances, which is the 8th house, was lifted, expanded 2-3 times more. You can start making money from others, or you can sell a business and make more money from it. You can get more clients. First, when Jupiter is in the 7th house, and when it goes into the 8th house, you start making more money through others. So the government gives you some grant or some help, or your partner starts making more money. Or like for me, I started working with others, and suddenly, instead of all the income coming through my horoscopes, it was 70% was coming through me introducing other astrologers, through tapping into the talents of others. So that's another way that alternative or more expanded income can come for you, Capricorns. It can also receive inheritance of some sort with Jupiter in the 8th house. Yeah, that carries certain connotations. Or it's easier to get pregnant with Jupiter in the 8th house. It's easier to have more intimacy. So if the intimate part was lacking for you, now there can be sexual intimacy. That's why also it's the house of impregnation, because when two people have strong intimacy sexually, that's when it's easier to get pregnant. So it's the portal of death and rebirth. Someone leaving. Sometimes it can be literal deaths, not of you, don't worry. But also a new life coming. Transformations, very fast happening changes when Jupiter is in the 8th house. And even if they start with a crisis and you're like, oh, like for me, I got 8th house rules divorces and so on. I got divorced on the 8th house, Jupiter. But then I fell in love with my husband and got pregnant, and everything is like very fast happening changes. And even if you're stressed and like, oh, it's for good, those changes are really for good, those transformations. Because Jupiter brings them, and it's the great benefic. As I said, resources, you can get a loan if you need, you can get some lucky break with refinancing a loan, with mortgages, money coming to you from others, or from investments that you've made previously, stock or something. So yeah, that's how Jupiter through the 8th house can bless you, starting from the second part of the 2026 till the middle of 2027. My husband, because he had Jupiter in the 8th house, and at the very end, the last few couple of weeks when Jupiter was in his 8th house, investments that he had made 7-8 years earlier suddenly went 8 times. Like certain stock went 8 times, and he was like, okay, Jupiter in the 8th house. And he got an inheritance because his grandma passed away. But yeah, these are the things. So you receive help from others, asking you receive through clients or through your partner, through other people. And so you see this year, good relationships, good things coming to you through others, and then through their resources and receiving help through their resources. And Jupiter in the 8th house is fantastic for studying astrology, psychology, those more esoteric aspects of life, because the 8th house is the house of mysteries, of psychology, to have psychological healings and transformations. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that. When Jupiter is in the 8th house, sudden healings, sudden breakthroughs psychologically, like shedding off a lot of burden psychologically. You see, Saturn is working the whole year on your 4th house of the inner child, the ancestral patterns, slowly chipping away there of the problems, realizing them, correcting them, while Jupiter, the moment Jupiter gets involved in another psychological house, the 8th, from July onwards, the healing and the spontaneous healings are much more likely. Even sometimes spontaneous healing from something like you never thought there is cure for this illness or the state or the psychological mental state that you thought you will be always stuck with. So Jupiter can really raise that vibration quickly. It's the house of initiation, maybe through a crisis, but then you come out of it and you're much more highly vibrational and much more like you've shed it a ton, like through some kind of detox almost. Jupiter through the 8th can help through detoxing you from poisonous emotions and circumstances as well, and free you from them. So there you go, Capricorn. You see a lot psychological work there on the subconscious, the second part of healing, work on the subconscious, maybe even taking it a bit easier. These are when the subconscious is so busy and working, you need more time alone, family, arrange your personal life with Saturn in the 4th house, with Jupiter in the 8th house, your private finances, your psychological state, mental health state as well. Some kind of more like a retreat energy that's for the 8th house, more private energy. And it's also hidden money. You can tap into some hidden money like offshore or money, gold digging money, whatever. This is the 8th house. Money from others. The universe gives you back. Ask and you'll receive. And it's very alchemical. It's very magical house when Jupiter goes there. That's why I say it's like activation of the chakras, spiritual awakenings, but that activates as well, like almost like miraculous healings and miraculous synchronicities in a sense, tapping into the under the reality, the visible reality. And I know Capricorn likes to work with tangibles, but yeah, sometimes this magical knocks on the door, the 4th, the 8th house, where the subconscious needs to be worked on. And that's what those planets are helping you. But if you want to find out how Neptune will affect you, because some Capricorns will have Neptune, the first 5 degrees, they'll be under the influence of Neptune. Uranus moves into your 6th house. It's going to be for the next 7 years. 6th house is about being free from work that is not aligned with you and just finding the most authentic work and having, rather than 9 to 5, much more free schedule and so on. I go much more in depth about Saturn and Jupiter and Uranus and Venus retrograde in Scorpio and Libra and Mercury retrograde and the eclipses, which are starting as well in new signs, in my extended version of the 2026 video. If you want your sun, moon, or rising, all 3 signs are for the price of 2 only, and everything is 30% off anyway. So thank you. Aries, sun, moon, or rising 2026. All right, Aquarius. What do we have here? Saturn is moving from our 2nd house, where it's been for the last 2-3 years, where sometimes for some of us it made it a bit harder financially, where we had to mature and be more organized and put order in our spending and financial habits and daily routines as well. into our third house, where it will stay from February 26 till 2028 at some point. So for the next 2 years, it will be there. And what is the third house? The third house is the house of our everyday mind. Where does our attention go? And now everyone's competing to get our attention, whether it's ads, whether it's social media. The currency now is attention, is not money anymore. So here we'll have to do one detox of our mind for the next 2 years, or to really organize where we put, and to put discipline in where we put our attention. So this can be like a digital detox for some of us. That's great. If you're like me as an Aquarius, we always want to know what's happening in the world, in the news. And Aquarius is very much connected to new technologies, and they're interested what's happening in society. Well, now Saturn moving into the third house will ask like detox. Saturn is about trimming, about removing the excess and the distractions. The third house is the monkey mind, that this channel, that social media, this email, zig, zig, zig. Well, Saturn says enough. You have to learn to do one thing at a time. And you have to learn to train your mind that it doesn't jump around like a monkey. So this is what you'll be doing for the next 2 years. The most important job is put order in your mind and your attention, and control where your attention goes. Because where your attention flows, manifestation goes after that. And that's why the ancients said when Saturn enters the third house, they'll call it from the moon or the ascendant, this is when it becomes easier to manifest what we want. There is a saying, you might not get what you want, but you get what you need. That's most of the time in our lives. But there's certain windows where we can get what we want as well. And the ancients said it when Saturn is in the third, also when Saturn is in the 11th, a few other houses, where we can get what we want, not just what we need. So where we start, it's the house of fulfilling wishes. It's a Kama house, not karma, Kama, desires. And Saturn there helps us become disciplined so we can fulfill our own wishes, even if they're a bit egoistic, whatever, because, we're not here just to fulfill the big plan of the universe. We're here also to fulfill some of our own wishes. And they say when Saturn moves into the third house is when what we want for ourselves, it starts, it's like when Saturn was in our sign, 5-6 years ago, the test of Aquarius, something new started. Now it's been brewing, and now we're going to see the first head of the plant poke. So the first results of whatever was planted over the last 5-6 years in our life will start giving results. Maybe you worked on something hard for the last few years, but you haven't seen results yet. Well, Saturn going into the third house, starting to make sextile to Aquarius, will start giving you the results now to fulfill some wish of yours, and so on. Saturn also in the third house will help you take control of your mind, eliminate distractions, eliminate things that waste your time with your mind, And even when it comes to reading and what you watch, you might feel like, I'd much rather watch a documentary, learn something useful, or something about my profession, read something practical about my profession or about my skills, or practice my skills, rather than just sit around and chat with people for hours, or doom scroll, or just read random news on social media. No, Saturn can't tolerate that. Saturn wants productivity, something that is useful. So it's very good transit. Yes, it can make us a bit more depressed and serious in the mind, which is the third house, but it kind of, again, it's about putting order there and your attention to be focused into practical things. And Saturn in the third house is great about honing skills, mastering skills that can help you in the long term. And the skills that you master when Saturn is in the third house, you keep them and you have them for life, and they can service you for many, many things for life. When Saturn transited the third house from my moon is when I started my business. So I had to learn to edit, record videos, do marketing, a lot of new skills. For 1 year, I had to learn it all. But I did it because Saturn makes you realize you have this rare opportunity, this rare window where you can where your mind is much more disciplined and you can be much more focused, and you can really learn skills because you're much more dedicated and disciplined with that. So third house in the ancient astrology is also the house of difficult things, doing difficult things. Saturn there is about say maybe for me it's getting a driving license. I've been repeating about that for years. Maybe finally, for someone it might be public speaking, difficult things, some skill that you need to develop that you've been putting off or that you just didn't have the courage to do. Saturn through the third house can help you with that, definitely. uh, so yes, Saturn through the third house is about this, learning skills. uh, yes, it takes effort, but you're gonna have the dedication, and you'd not be so drawn to waste times on, as I said, scrolling, just random chatting, and waste your mental power on things. You'd eliminate such distractions, because third house is also distractions, and you'd focus them on productive things. And Saturn is you're ruled by Saturn. You'd really dive yourself, maybe in some writing project, maybe in some website project, maybe in some AI project. It's anything to do with where you're using your skills, your mind, maybe in some uh, hand project, DIY project. Anything you do with the hands or with the mind is the third house. Anything that is social media, that is business, that is commerce is the third house. Business plans. So you put a lot of energy into such things. And also eliminating distractions. Of course, Saturn in the third house can test the relationships with siblings, relatives. Last time I had Saturn in the third house was when my little brother passed away. He was newly born, but I also got a new brother. I got twins. But sometimes there can be difficulties there. You might have to support sibling, or you might have to cut off a sibling, because Saturn is about putting boundaries, or maybe cut off a neighbor that is too invasive or that is toxic for you, or cut off a teammate or workmate that is, too judgmental or harsh. There might be the need to put more order and discipline in if you work in a team with others, to be more strict, because you're Saturn, so you need to put the order there. You need to be strict, and you need to put the new rules. And also, you might feel unheard sometimes by colleagues or people in your everyday life, so you need to find your voice of authority. Saturn is authority, third house is you being heard. And it's even good when Saturn transits the third house to learn to speak slower. We kind of rush as Aquarius because we have Aries in our third house. we have too many things to say. Well, Saturn says slow down. Don't say everything to it. There is a saying, don't say your plans to others. There is, when Saturn is in the third house, especially, it's a good idea. Think before you speak. Keep some things to yourself. Keep your mouth shut a little bit more. Think before, and judge who is in your immediate environment. You might have to eliminate some people from your social media, or stop meeting some friends if you notice that, and you'll see some people that you don't want to give your attention to anymore. So there'll be this sieving through of your contacts, especially your everyday contacts as well. Also, as I said, you might be working hard on some project connected to third house, to writing, to speaking, to social media, to business. Or there might be problems with driving or with commute. There might be a longer commute, or if there's trips, usually those trips are more for work, and so on. But now let's focus on Jupiter. So Saturn in the third house is quite good. It's sextiling you. Yeah, sometimes it can make you feel too serious, like you don't want to think superficial thoughts, you don't want to talk superficial things. The social aspect can be a little bit more dry, but you're doing something productive with your mind. Then the other big event is that Jupiter is in your sixth house the first 6 months of the year. It started from June 25, continues till July 25, and Jupiter in the sixth house, it can expand your work. It can expand your responsibilities and duties and errands. It can help you enjoy work more. It can help you get a lot of work done, because Jupiter kind of breezes through things. But for me, it's like I started enjoying cleaning. I started enjoying kind of sixth house things that I don't usually enjoy. Better hygiene, learning more about supplements, about taking care of your body. Sixth house is your daily routines, your nutrition, your exercise plan. I started exercising and I'm enjoying it. You can expand or experiment or try new exercise routines, or you can come across exactly the right supplements that can help you with some health issue, exactly the good doctors. Six houses doctors and people that help us in health, the right counselor for exercise, for nutrition, or doctor that gives you clarity about certain situation. Jupiter gives clarity and solutions to problems. Sixth house problems can be health problems. It can also help you release and overcome unhealthy self-medicating habit easier, because sixth house is also how do we self-medicate. And with Jupiter there, it's easier to release unhealthy habits. It's happened for me. We'll see. Well, I'm surprised it's been too easy. Usually I always go back after a month, but so we have 6 months of that. So introduce new, better habits. It will be easier for you to even know which are the right habits for you. Also, when it comes to work, you can find very good employees if you're trying to expand your business, your works, Jupiter in the sixth house. You find the right projects. You find the right job. If you're trying to find a job, it's much easier when Jupiter is in the sixth house to find one. You're having help with work behind the scenes and so on. Then, and Jupiter is pets. Some of you might get a pet. I've been on the verge, but still, I'm like, I don't know. So pets, something good there. Yeah, but you'd feel a lot more Jupiter when from July, the beginning of July, it moves to Leo and directly starts opposing Aquarius. So it's like a full aspect of Jupiter. Jupiter in the sixth house, there is no aspect towards us. Yes, there is some areas of our life like routines and exercise, which is not the strength of Jupiter. Jupiter is more intuitive, it's knowledge. There you need more like Saturn energy with routines and plans. But still, it can help with some health issue. I got like a very prolonged illness with Jupiter in the sixth house. 1 month I can't shake it off, but that awakened in me understanding about how important it is to take care of your health. So suddenly I was able to release unhealthy habits and so on. So whatever is happening health-wise, it's for the good, and whatever exercises and routines, again, it's divinely inspired as knowledge. But when Jupiter moves to the seventh house, now it starts protecting your body, your health, ascendance on the moon, and it opens opportunities to us from July 26 to July 27 that come to us through others. So people can appear in your life that are benefactors, even famous people, it's in Leo, or people with big social standing, Jupiter, that can help you in some way. They can give you a helping hand, or they can give you wisdom or support or guidance. Reach out for others for support from the second part of the year, and you will receive it. You can also, your partner, something good can start happening in the life of your partner. They might get a promotion, or they might get motivation. Something can improve in their health or overall in their life. Or if you had difficulty in your relationship, there can be a renewal of the relationship. And sometimes Jupiter in the seventh can lead to a divorce or separation, but only if the relationship is super stagnant. And Jupiter through the seventh is like you're being freed, and you're like, whew, finally, It's not like, oh no, I'm heartbroken. No. It's like, wow, I'm free from this contract, I'm free from this business agreement, I'm free from this obligation towards this person, or I'm free from this relationship, and I'm so happy. And immediately, Jupiter doesn't leave empty space and vacuum. It can bring a new partner or a new business partner that is better, that is more beneficial for you, that is, Jupiter is in a sense lucky as well. So if you need something done from the second part of the year, ask for help from another. You can get a very good lawyer, you can very good agent, very good representative if you need such things. Someone that pushes you, someone that inspires you, or your partner, or if you're single now, single Aquarius, that can be the time you fall in love. Jupiter opens the heart chakra in the seventh house and can bring a very beneficial relationship, or maybe get married. I got married 2 times on Jupiter in the seventh house, once from my son. Jupiter, when I married my husband, Jupiter was in the seventh from my son. And so contracts, happy, lucky contracts. And the other time, Jupiter in the 7th from my ascendant. Still, you know, so marriages and such stuff as well, or very beneficial business partnership. I have also seen people's business increase when Jupiter is in the 7th house. They get more clients, more sales, they reach out to wider audience because the 7th house is audience. Or someone helped them, like they meet someone and someone says, oh, do you know this and this job or this and this opportunity? So connect with others because there'll be a source of something good coming to you. A stimulation, motivation, inspiration, or even physical, material opportunity, because Jupiter also rules your 2nd house of money. So yeah, ask and you receive. Others give you, and others help you. The second part, and you see, Saturn is in a social house the whole year in 2027. Jupiter enters a social house from the second part of 2026 and the first part of 2027. So the most important source of progress and growth and what needs to take your attention is other people, to select and discriminate the right one and remove the ones that are just wasting your time and the distractions, while to welcome new contacts and others. Somehow others are the driving force more and more. So build bridges, wise bridges with Saturn, but because there will be a source of growth for you. But of course, we're gonna have Aquarius, Pluto in Aquarius from 2 till 6 degrees this year. So anyone who is Aquarius 2 till 6 degrees, wow, your life will never be the same. The changes are slow, they take a couple of years with Pluto, but you're never the same after. If you want to hear more about how Pluto will affect your Uranus, the first 5 degrees of Aquarius also will get Uranus trine. So many planets are helping Aquarius this year. And the nodes move. The eclipses start happening in Aquarius and Leo. I forgot, I should have started with that. Eclipses start happening in our axis. Eclipse with the North Node already from February in our 1st house, then in August in our 7th house. Big shifts in relationships and the roles that you play. When the nodes are in the 1st and the 7th house, this is when fated relationships happen. This is when fated business or personal partnerships, and this is when we change our skin like a snake. The Rahu, the North Node, is a snake, is the king of the Nagas, very wise snakes, dragons. And what do snakes do? They change their skin. So Aquarians are in for changing of their skin. It's fast. This changing of the skin, of the personality, of the new role in your life is very fast and unexpected. So check out, I speak about the eclipses with the Rahu, the North Node, in Aquarius, and in your 7th house. Big shifts there in relationships and in your life. Check out the full video for 2026. Link is below. 30% off. You can also get your 3 signs, Sun, Moon, or Rising, already at half price, plus 30% discount. So, thank you. Hello Pisces, this is your 2026 video horoscopes for everyone who has their Sun, Moon, or Rising in Pisces. This is a little Pisces, baby Mila. She's not baby anymore, but she wanted to say hi for the Pisces sign. And I have some very good news for you, Pisces. You've been through a lot in the last 2.5 years, 3. Saturn was in your sign. This poor soul was so sick for a couple of years. Saturn really lowers the immunity and it can make you grumpy, but she's getting better. And Saturn is leaving your sign in February 2026. You can leave now, mommy. And you'd feel like clouds have lifted from you. You'd feel like you're not Atlas having to carry the whole earth plane on your shoulders, the whole globe on your shoulders. You'd start seeing the clouds disperse. And actually Saturn was good for you. It organized you, it made you more responsible, it made you more mature, it made you prioritize the important things in life. It really put order and structure in your life. And people that resist that, it was more painful for them. And there were some difficult things, you know, sometimes health issues and whatever, some kind of losses or challenges, but it's over. You've passed the initiation, you started the new cycle of 28 years, and now Saturn from February is moving and will not come again for 27 years into your sign, but it continues its cycle. It moves to your 2nd house, and Neptune is leaving your sign. It was there since 2012, 2013, something like that. Long time Neptune messing up with you. Not messing, really upgrading you to be more spiritualized, more refined, for people of art, people of inspiration. Neptune was very important. It made them probably. But now Neptune is leaving you, so you'd be way more organized, you'd be way more settled in your head. And Saturn and Neptune both move to your second house. Now, Saturn likes the second house. So when it leaves your first house, even aches and pains, health problems, they become less and less. You become stronger and stronger. But Saturn in the second house loves to put order in your finances, to make you responsible. If you're already responsible with finances, Saturn in the second house, you might not even feel it much. It's not affecting you directly in any way. You might be saving for something that you'll be investing on. You might be doing some work that after it's finished, it takes a couple of years of Saturn through your second house, so building the foundations of your financial independence in the future. And you might not see immediately results. You might feel like, oh, okay, I'm trying to build this financial stability. I'm still not seeing results. This is the preparatory stage. But whatever you build over the next 2 years financially or as a foundation for your financial and material security will be long lasting. It will take 27 years. And for 27 years, it will be the foundation of your financial stability. So yeah, you might be called to do some important work there to, Saturn is very good auditor of your finances, to start rebudgeting, to have a much better plan, rather than expect things to sort themselves magically. No. With Saturn is a plan, whether financial, whether professional, material, how you're going to save, how you're going to lessen your expenses, how you're going to grow your material opportunities, and the results can be fantastic. The results can be long-term, as I said. I personally, because I just went through Saturn in the second house, yeah, my income decreased couple of, it became, of what's normal, half of it. But it was still, we budgeted and we learned to appreciate more what we have and only to buy quality things. Not Saturn is not about quantity, it's about quality. So you'd buy quality but less of. We went throughout a lot of things, because Saturn, you don't want the energy to get clogged in financial energy. So you need to throw out old clothes or give them away, old possessions, or repurpose them, use them again, rather than them staying there and taking space. Take something you're going to use, give it back life, use it, or just give it away so you free space so for the energy of money and abundance can flow. Also, take stock of, you can learn. For me, it was also second house is food. And Saturn is about routine, discipline. I learned to eat once time per day. Before that, I had absolutely no routine. Some days I would not eat because I didn't feel. I would just smoke all day. Other days I would eat only junk. Other days I would eat super healthy. And it was like I had no health routines. When it comes to how you eat, second house is eating. Saturn over the last 2 years in my second house, I learned, I made a plan. I saw other people around me, they would eat once per day. They're great in their 40s, 50s, great bodies. They're not hungry. I'm like, okay, I'll do it. And it took a few months, and now it's so natural to me. Saturn helps you restrict food or make a plan and organize yourself, how you food, your daily habits is the second house as well. Your routines around food, your routines about consumption. It was very easy for me to stop drinking as well. And not easy, Saturn is efforts, but it's you have this discipline when other times you might not have it. When it comes to food and what you put in your mouth, you might have to do some dental work. It is Saturn after all. Second house is teeth. Also might do some work on your face. Second house rules the face. I started doing exercise, massages. So Saturn is make efforts, make plan, make routines, discipline. I started doing it. They really help. I had here a second chin, and certain exercise 2 minutes per day, it disappeared. These things really work. Put work on your face. It will, when Saturn is in the second house, put work on your finances. Put work. And I had financial difficulties, but I found the workaround. Saturn is yeah, okay, there's problem, let's solve it logically, disciplinedly. Okay, we sat around, we made a different plan. This is, you know, help me here, help me there. This is what we, let's try this, let's try that. So you create alternative uh, financial stability for you. Don't get scared from that. Or another thing, you can spend money on investment. Saturn, you might be investing, I don't know, Saturn rules your 11th house, in your long-term goals and dreams, in some big project, or there might be some expenditure. You might be investing in something more traditional, because second house is also where you invest your money. I would advise you invest your money in something more traditional, like real estate, property, uh, rather than just, you know. But this is what you have Saturn there for 2 years. So you learn, when Saturn leaves, you become master of your finances. You've mastered them. They don't scare you anymore. You become more responsible in that area, and with the food that you eat, and with the assets and valuables that you surround yourself with. Maybe take better care of them, or you invest in something traditional like gold, or I don't know, such kind of stuff. And as well, simplify your possessions. Don't overload. Unload. Saturn likes to unload, to get rid of things you don't need. And it likes simple styles, and like simplicity in your simplicity, consistency, and quality. So second house is whether it's your possessions, whether it's your the materials that you dress yourself with, what materials you wear, and so on. Nothing fancy, but very practical. And any waste, Saturn hates waste of resources when it's in the second house. So you learn to conserve resources. So it's very conservationist. What's that word? I always forget. Sustainable. Very sustainable. You learn to be sustainable in the long run. And even if resources are lacking, to do the best with whatever you have. You become master magician in managing resources. So yeah, these are some of the focuses of Saturn in the second house. While Jupiter will be in your fifth house till July 2026. It started from June 25 till July 26. Jupiter all the time is protecting you. Actually, the moment Saturn moves from Pisces from February, and Neptune, you're going to only have Jupiter influence on your sign. Because Jupiter's strongest aspect is the trine, which is sending to you its most positive aspect. And it's an opening trine. So really from February, you start feeling hopeful, positive. Maybe you were not able to fully feel Jupiter in Cancer yet because Saturn is still in your sign till February 26th. But the moment the heavy energy of Saturn moves away, Jupiter only hopeful, believing in yourself, having more confidence. The fifth house is confidence, feeling more inspired. And seriously, if inspiration hits you, some idea comes to you, fifth house, the house of brilliant ideas that you download from up there, write it down and start on it. You're on the opening phase of Saturn, new cycle, building new beginnings, consolidating. Invest, maybe that's where your spending will go, or maybe the restricting of the finances, because there is some new creative idea or business project that you come up with, something original, something that new talent that you discover, something that sparks your joyful life. That's where you might have to invest, for example. But Jupiter there makes you extremely creative, full of ideas. You can create, I don't know, websites, businesses, or children. If something good can be happening in the life of your child, they can get some promotion if it's a grown-up child, or a new positive phase in their life, improve relationship with your children. You can feel much more joyful and bonded with them, or you can get pregnant and have a child. Fifth house is also falling in love. You can have child without falling in love. So you remember how when we fall in love, we become super creative. I always say I don't have much creative bones in me, but when I was in love, well, I still am, but at the beginning, initial phases, this is the fifth house, I was writing poems to my husband. I was inventing games. Fifth house is games and creativity and sports. I was like riding not scooters, Doesn't matter. I forgot the name. The things that I wouldn't do. I was very adventurous. So when you fall in love, you become adventurous, you become creative, you become childlike. And Jupiter in your fifth house allows you to get in touch with this inner child, life to feel more magical, to feel more like full of excitement, full of adventure. Your adventurous spirit will shine on. And actually, when Saturn leaves you, only the North Node stays in your sign, Pisces. The North Node is very experimental. So you might experiment with your physical appearance. You might, if it's your ascendant in Pisces, you might experiment with your career, uh, with the Sun in Pisces. You might become more confident, put yourself out there, front stage. Fifth house is also put yourself in the limelight. These are all self houses. The first and the fifth, where Jupiter and the North Node are working for you the first 6 months of the year. So you become more, you feel more confident, you become more adventurous. There is more. Jupiter and North Node are both about opportunities. More opportunities start coming your way. Romantically, you might fall in love till July in a positive way. Romance that is supportive, or you can restart, or you can have more fun with your partner. You can just be more playful and fun. You can have more joy in life. You can start a sport that you really much enjoy. My baby girl, as a Pisces, I put her into tennis. Fifth house is sports as well, and into drawing when Jupiter entered the fifth house, and she loves both of those stuff. Before that, I tried her dancing. Before Jupiter entered the fifth house, she never liked anything. But now Jupiter in the fifth house, you're naturally drawn to things that you're naturally talented at, developing your talent, something that gives you joy from life. So yeah, use that. Or falling in love is positive as well. Well, being financially reasonable with Saturn in the second house. And then from July onwards, Jupiter moves into your sixth house. So you can be crazy till July. North Node is in your sign. Focus on you, becoming independent, changing appearance. If your moon is in also the North Node in the first and seventh house till July, till the end of July, till August, it's about fated relationship, meeting people that will be long time in your life, best friends or marriage partners, fated relationships that can come, that you have a soul contract with as well. That's till August approximately, because there is eclipses in the first and seventh house in March and then in August, towards the end of August. So it's still an opening in 2026 for fated relationships. To find out the exact degrees who will be affected, check out the full version of this video. Don't want to make it too big. I just want to emphasize the important points. And then Jupiter moves into your sixth house. So this kind of, and the North Node moves out of you. So this kind of more wild phase and letting your hair down and experimenting comes down. And Jupiter moves into a practical house, just like Saturn. So the second part of the year, you come more down to earth. The first part of the year, experiment, try new things, be wild, take new personas, new identities, rebirth, change, shedding of your skin. The North Node, Rahu, which is a dragon or a reptile, is in your sign Pisces till August. So that's eclipses is like shedding of the skin, a new roles in life, new directions, new personalities. But then it changes. So the second part of the year, you come down to earth, you start. Now Jupiter in the sixth house can help you expand your work, take care of business you haven't taken care of before. If you're unhappy with your current job, you can find a new job for a year ahead while Jupiter is in the sixth house. You can start new work projects that feel more meaningful and aligned for you. Your workload can expand. Your employees, if you want to employ people, can expand. You can start enjoying cleaning and organizing things more, because sixth house, the house of cleaning, and Jupiter brings joy. You can find joy in supplements, in taking care of your routine, smoothies, any healthy stuff, working out for health rather than just for joy, in kind of healthy routines. And if there is problems at your work, usually when Jupiter transits in the sixth house, there is quick solutions. your people you work with or employees are supportive of you. Like I'm having Jupiter in the 6th house, and the people I've been working with, they've been very supportive. Even when I've had problems, had my back, contributed a lot with great ideas. 6th house is that your office environment can improve, or you can even change a job with a better one. Even if you're scared, oh, I'm losing my job, no, a better one will come with Jupiter in the 6th house. You have a whole year for that. So yeah, you see the second part of 27, 26 and 20, a lot of 27 is about practical things, work, career, money, uh, financial discipline, financial maturity, growth career-wise. While the first part is more wilder of 2026 because of Jupiter in your 5th house, Rahu in your sign. I said it's excitable, it's seductive, it's spicy, it's a bit more taboo but exciting. So this is, depends, but maybe you need a little bit of that energy the first 6-7 months of the year. Thank you so much, Pisces. And if you want to hear the whole video with way more in-depth information, way more, it's 2 hours, so we cover a lot more because Uranus will start affecting you, Pisces, and that's a whole other different story. You might become like digital nomads, move a lot for the next 7-8 years. But I tell you a lot of stories and how it played out for different people. Uranus in the 4th house and who's going to be affected this year and so on. So, thank you.